10 years ago, our hero, Jade, goes to the guild as an adventurer. On that same day, he falls in love with the receptionist. Later, in a mountainous field, he is busy eliminating a small monster with a dagger. Actually, he is a flowerbud-ranked adventurer and feels good eliminating a monster. He excitedly announces he has just eliminated a slime for the first time. As he puts back his dagger, he reflects that he has a dream of becoming a great adventurer, and now he is on his first quest. This quest requires gathering mana stones from monsters after eliminating them. When monsters are eliminated, they give ether, and the monsters leave behind mana stones. On the other hand, the ether is absorbed into the flower crest of an adventurer. The more monsters one defeats, the more flower petals grow, making one stronger. Having flower buds, 1 to 2 petals is beginner, 3 to 6 petals is intermediate, and 7 to 10 is advanced. Furthermore, there is a unique pattern for each of the flower classes, which includes attacker, guard, enhancer, and support. He is still a beginner with type enhancer. He is determined to reach rank 10, which no other adventurer has become. Right then, he realizes he needs to stay focused. He closely observes the mana stone he got from the defeated slime. Seeing it under the sunlight, he learns it has a small crack on it. Because of the damage, his reward will be a lot less. Still, he feels proud for doing this much as a beginner, and feels determined to do even better next time. His main goal is to become a hero, to leave a mark in the world, and to become the very best adventurer. With that, he decides to go back to the guild. Later, he steps inside the Royal Capital Guild reception. He is busy finding the receptionist so his mana stone can be observed. Suddenly, he finds window number 18 is open. He goes there directly and finds a beautiful, long-haired receptionist. Seeing her makes him blush. He finds her cute and has never seen someone this cute before. Her eyes seem soothing, yet it feels like those can suck the person in front. He notes her hair is silky smooth and almost shining. Looking at her name tag, he learns that her name is Garnet. Even her name is lovely to him. Closing his eyes, wondering what he should do, he finds himself completely fallen for her. She asks if he has some problem. Coming back to reality, he mentions he wants her to check his mana stone. However, deep down, he even finds her voice angelic and admits he is really in love. Meanwhile, she states that due to the damage, the stone's value has dropped to half, which is 500 golai. He is completely captivated by her beauty, which even makes him forget his goal of becoming the greatest adventurer. Now, he wants to talk to her more, but the only way he can talk is through the counter, so he makes a plan. He thanks her and then reveals he wants to go for another quest. She puts forward the catalog for Bud-ranked adventurers, and he selects one immediately. He has made a decision to take as many quests as he can just to get closer to her. Later, he excitedly goes to complete the quest so he can go back to Garnet. With every passing day, he completes quests just to talk to her as soon as he can. While fighting monsters, the only name echoing in his heart is hers. Now, 10 years later, somewhere on a mountain road, a golem has emerged. The adventurers present spot it. The elder adventurer thinks they can't last for long, while the female adventurer is trying to heal the elder. She reveals she is done with buffs and leaves everything to the elder, who is her grandfather. The elder decides to finish off in one strike. He uses his ability Shatter to land a strike on the golem. Unfortunately, the golem is totally unaffected and stands perfectly fine. The elder is shocked to see his attack ineffective, even though he is a 7-rank adventurer. Then he decides to run away along with his granddaughter. Surprisingly, the golem gets destroyed as a blast erupts. Both freeze for a moment. The short-haired girl asks her grandfather if he has used his secret killing technique. The elder yells in panic, admitting he has nothing to do with something like that. Then he points out something. It turns out Jade is coming towards them and is now a rank 10 adventurer. Both recognize him and yell, wondering how a rank 10 adventurer ended up here. While explaining, his tongue slips as he mentions Garnet, but he immediately changes the subject, stating he came here to defeat the golem. He also points out he barely reached right on time. The short-haired girl thanks him and then gets curious about how he has defeated the golem. He calmly reveals he threw a rock at it. The female adventurer gets stunned and asks if he didn't use his sword. He jokingly states he can't just throw his sword instead of a rock. However, the short-haired girl makes it clear that since he is an enhancer, she thought he would have enhanced his sword to fight the monster. Unexpectedly, he reveals that his sword is actually the country's treasured sword. He received it from the guild staff as a memento when he became a rank 10 adventurer. The short-haired girl asks why he is even carrying it if it is meant to be a memento. Meanwhile, her grandfather implies that he is carrying it simply as a form of self-discipline. The elder admits that Jade is truly worthy of the country's treasure. However, Jade is just standing there speechless. Then, internally, he recalls that this gift is from the king, but since Garnet has bestowed the sword to him, he keeps it with him all the time. Plus, this sword is also something that Garnet has touched, and carrying it with him makes him feel like she is right next to him. With that, he is grateful that no one got hurt and decides to go back to the capital. The elder mentions it is as expected of a rank 10, to perfectly finish the mission and go back with results. After that, the short-haired girl asks Jade how she can become strong like him. He answers that anyone can be strong like him if they keep doing quests nonstop. However, the female adventurer points out it is impossible as injuries are inevitable, so one needs to rest for a few days to heal. She adds that, as a beginner in the past, she has taken a beating and also broke her bones as well. Yet he has persevered every day. She wonders why he goes so far. Then her grandfather bluntly adds that it's the power of love. Jade gets startled and panics, asking the elder what made him say it has something to do with love. Internally, he reflects that he has never revealed to anyone that Garnet is his crush. The elder boasts he is not that old. He adds that he knows what has driven Jade. It is the love for the people and love for peace. For a moment, Jade is speechless as he notes that there is also that kind of love. With that, he awkwardly acknowledges it. Meanwhile, the elder believes it is truly admirable. Later, he finally arrives at the Royal Capital Guild Hall, holding a huge monostone. The other adventurers present spot him and note the massive monostone he is holding. As he is walking in the hall through a number of adventurers, one points out that high-ranking adventurers commonly go to special receptions. However, Jade is going to the normal reception. They believe that even though he is very strong, he has a down-to-earth personality. They all consider him a selfless hero. Meanwhile, he is feeling a bit embarrassed hearing those comments. Then he worries that Garnet is going to think he is a weirdo. Internally, he panics as it is almost his turn. Then she calls for the next one in the line. He reminds himself that this is not the time to back down, because this is the first time he can talk, and he can keep her gaze all to himself. He cherishes moments like these and on what he lives for. He stutters a bit as he shows her his massive monostone. After that, she asks for his name. As he tells her, she tells him to wait while she is searching for something in the documents. Then, she realizes it is from the Golem Subjugation quest and decides to examine the stone. Meanwhile, internally, he is rolling on the floor as he finds her extra cute today. He admits internally that her serious expression is so cute, and the way she is inspecting the monostone, he never thought he would be jealous of a stone. He finds her adorable as she closes her eyes. She looks so charming with her long eyelashes that it takes his breath away. He reflects that the monostone is a bit bigger than usual and notes she is observing from different angles with great precision. No matter what she is doing, he finds it charming. After a moment, she announces the inspection is done and offers him a check of 50 million gold. Then, he believes that the moment he will take the check, it will be goodbye for now. But deep down, he doesn't want it to end. However, he reminds himself that he can't keep her occupied more than this, and recalls that for 10 years they have been strictly business. Eventually, he believes he will be more casual with her. Then he holds the check she is giving him, and their hands touch each other. For him, the moment freezes. Even though he screams internally, he thanks her for the check, as his body is trembling, being overwhelmed. Internally, he prays for the check to be blessed, as because of it, he got to touch her hand. Therefore, he decides never to cash it, and plans to frame it in his house. With that, he tells her he would like to take another quest. She shows him the catalog for rank 10 adventurers, and he immediately selects his next quest. She calmly reminds him to bring the mana stone to her after completing the quest. Internally, he believes if they continue to have more moments like these, they will surely become friends soon. Then, he acknowledges her as he leaves. While walking away, he is determined to continue doing quests every day for the sake of meeting her. On the other hand, she holds the hand which touched his while thinking about something. Later that night, somewhere else, someone mentions they went to the capital to request a subjugation force, and adventurers will come here soon. The villagers are happy to hear that news, as they can't wait to see those monsters eliminated so they can feel a bit light. Meanwhile, a girl hearing this news nervously wonders about the subjugation force and adventurers. In a small village, Jade announces that monster subjugation is completed, so the village should be safe now. Internally, he reflects that today he is on another quest. One villager feels honored that the great hero accepted their request and suggests that he rest and enjoy his break there. He humbly appreciates the sentiment but says he needs to return to the capital for his next quest. However, internally, he cannot wait to go back and report to Garnet. Unexpectedly, a girl appears and states that it is not over yet. With a worried face, she reveals the vegetable-eating dragon is still out there. Jade, confused, repeats her words. The elder from earlier tries to stop the girl from saying such things. He apologizes to the hero, explaining that this girl sees dragons stealing vegetables. The small girl softly insists she is telling the truth and is not lying. After thinking for a bit, Jade leans towards her and asks where the dragon went. She points out to the mountains ahead and says the dragon went there. With that, Jade tells everyone he will investigate to see if there are any signs of dragons and asks them to relax. The little girl sincerely thanks him, while the elder tries to apologize for the trouble. He calmly shrugs it off and reminds them, this is the job of an adventurer. Eventually, he reaches an abandoned mine. He doubts that something as big as a dragon can hide there. He wonders if the villagers have mistaken a herbivore for a dragon stealing vegetables. Suddenly, he hears a deep voice warning him not to move any further. Still, he moves forward, curious to know where the voice is coming from. The voice tells him to leave any food he has, or else he will suffer its wrath. Jade finally finds the place the voice comes from. It's a small cottage. Inside, he finds a small girl sitting on the floor. This makes him wonder what she is doing here. He questions whether she is lost or if something odd is happening. He does not sense anyone else's presence and guesses that she must have been the voice he heard earlier. He recalls her earlier words about food and remembers what the villager girl said about a dragon stealing vegetables. A thought crosses his mind that dragons can take human form, so he wonders if this girl is a dragon. He leans in and asks the girl if she is a dragon. The little girl smirks and admits she has been found out. She switches to her wrathful mode, demanding that he leave all his food and go. She threatens that if he does not obey, she will devour him. Jade jokingly points out that she would choke if she did that. The little girl becomes embarrassed and yells that if she turns into her true form, then he would be bite-sized. He calmly mentions that he wants to ask her some questions before she eats him. He asks why a dragon would willingly take on the form of a human. She stutters at first, but then reveals her original body is so big that she cannot ever fill it. She explains that in her current form, she can survive for a few days with a single vegetable. Jade is shocked and thinks to himself that she is not much like a dragon at all and is actually sad. Next, the dragon girl reveals she wants to eat meat, but her small body cannot fight. He asks if it would not be easy to hunt in her dragon form. Nervously, the small girl reveals that back in the village, she has heard there is a bad group of people called adventurers. Since they hunt monsters, she thinks they will come after her as well. Jade asks if she only transforms into a dragon when she goes out to steal vegetables. She curiously asks how he knew that. He simply states a villager said they saw a dragon. The girl panics, stands up, and says she does not know when the adventurers will appear. At that moment, Jade grabs her arm and tells her to wait. The dragon feels warmth and wonders if this human is here to protect her. To her surprise, he reveals he is an adventurer. The little girl freezes as the word adventurer echoes in her head. After a moment, she screams loudly and begins running inside the cottage. He calms her down and assures her he does not hit young girls. When the little girl asks to confirm, he confidently assures her again. As she takes a breath in relief, he thinks she does not look like a bad girl. However, he feels he is in a tight spot because, as an adventurer, he cannot ignore the presence of a dragon. Then something comes to his mind. He asks if she is a white dragon since white dragons are protected by the country. He mentions that he would need to act if she were from another species. Something strikes the dragon's mind. As she steps outside the cottage, she reveals she is a white dragon and will prove it to him. From outside, the dragon yells at him to step out. As soon as he does, his eyes become fixed on the beautiful white dragon standing before him. After staring at her for a few seconds, he admits that she really is a white dragon. Later, inside the cottage, the dragon asks why white dragons are protected. Jade explains that their country was saved by a white dragon in the past. He shows her his memento sword, which has a white dragon engraved on it. The dragon is amazed and mentions they should be thankful to her ancestors. With that, the little girl decides to become a good dragon from now on. He suggests she meet the king and get herself a protection status, which will give her all the necessities she needs in life. The dragon immediately decides to go now, and Jade announces they will go straight to the capital. The next day, the dragon walks in the capital feeling happy and confident about the clothes she is wearing, which Jade bought for her. He feels good because she likes the clothes, as both walk behind a royal guard. They finally reach the meeting hall. At the entrance, he asks if she is ready. Though nervous, the dragon replies she is all set. They step inside, where the king, monarch of the Sundale kingdom, is waiting for them. He recognizes Jade and says he knows why he is here. Surprisingly, the king thinks that Jade has finally decided to become his successor to lead the country. However, Jade feels a bit annoyed since he has not come for that and tries to find words for what he is about to ask. He states he has found a white dragon who can use transformation magic and is here for protection status. Looking at the white dragon, he finds her extremely nervous. She greets the king and mutters under stress that she is a harmless white dragon. She explains she can get dressed and eat by herself, and that she is intelligent and self-reliant. She goes pale and her body trembles as she adds she does not cause much trouble either. Jade thinks she just gave a stiff introduction. The king, after thinking for a bit, acknowledges her and mentions that their country owes very much to Jade and the White Dragons. However, he decides not to let a dragon roam in the capital like this. He believes he is in a tight spot as he considers what to do. The White Dragon becomes even more nervous. Seeing her hold her dress tightly, Jade believes that even though she is a dragon, she is still a child and cannot be left alone. He requests the king to allow him to take care of her. The dragon is amazed by Jade. Meanwhile, the king happily gives his approval. Later, outside, the white dragon sincerely thanks him for doing so much for her and says she will repay the favor with her life. Jade calmly tells her not to worry about that. He asks for her name. The white dragon, having no name, asks him to pick one for her. Confused, Jade asks if she is sure. He names her Domi since she is a white dragon. Even though she thinks it is too simple, she happily accepts it. As they walk ahead, Domi sings out her name, feeling wholesome. Eventually, they reach the Adventurers Guild, which makes Domi stop. Looking at the guild makes her feel stressed because, for her, the place looks malicious. Jade decides to go inside since he needs to report that his quest is finished, and advises Domi to behave well. She acknowledges instantly. Thinking about the adventurers, she goes pale and gets a bad feeling about this. Worried about Jade, she decides to peek in from the window. Inside, she finds him standing happily in front of Garnet. Seeing him smile like that, Domi senses he is having so much fun, as if he has turned back into a kid. Looking at Garnet, she feels Garnet is a lovely person and watches her with amazement. Observing the guild building, Domi now thinks that maybe the place is not bad after all. After a couple of minutes, Jade comes out and apologizes for making Domi wait. He suggests they go home. Domi beams, excited to go home. Unexpectedly, he reveals that he has not gone home for over a year. Domi is shocked and asks if he has not been going home lately. He says he has been busy with quests, but now that she is with him, he will be home more often. This makes Domi excited. With that, both of them reach their home, and Domi steps inside excitedly. Meanwhile, one of Jade's neighbors realizes he has finally come back home tonight. With that, Jade and Domi's new life begins. Jade recalls the past event where he took responsibility for caring for a white dragon named Domi. Now, they are heading home. On the way, Domi points out that he is a pretty cool guy and says she also found the guild super fun. He is glad to hear this from her. Domi adds that he looked like he was enjoying himself a lot when he came out of the guild, which makes her believe the guild must be a fun place. For a moment, he is startled as thoughts of how gorgeous Garnet looked today fill his mind. In his thoughts, he reflects that Garnet was even more dazzling than yesterday. He quickly returns to reality when Domi calls out to ask if they have arrived. He apologizes, explaining they will be there soon. While walking, Jade notes that nothing has changed here even though he is returning after a year. He is glad he still remembers how to get back home. He tells Domi that his house is just beyond here. Finally, they arrive at Jade's heart-themed home. Domi gets super excited while he smiles warmly. Seeing the huge heart on the roof, Domi exclaims that his house is awesome. He acknowledges her praise humbly. Deep down, Jade reflects that the massive heart on the roof is his message to Garnet, while the heart on the door symbolizes his love for her. He thinks that when they start living together, he wants her to be showered with his love every time she opens that door. He blushes as he remembers this was the thought behind the house design, but he cannot reveal it to anyone. On the other hand, the carpenters who built his house cried, believing he chose that design to show love for the citizens and that he had a pure heart. Now in the present, Jade invites Domi to come in. They step inside, and at the entrance he explains that the light comes from mana stones, which turn on the moment someone touches the door. Domi admits it is a cool feature that the whole house lights up as soon as anyone steps inside. Next, they go to the bathroom, where Jade explains it was designed with comfort in mind. After a bad day, one can soak and wash away their worries. The bath is so big that Domi even says she can use it in her true form. They move on to the bedroom. The bed, Jade describes, is made from the highest quality feathers and custom made from materials he collected. Doromi remarks that something so soft should be illegal, as it is too tempting to sleep on. Then she goes to the next room and is stunned as she wonders about the space. It turns out to be a walk-in closet. There, Doromi spots lots of cute clothes, and Jade reveals that this is only half of it. After that, Doromi notices something white. Jade explains these are wedding dresses, and there are a total of 28. Doromi picks one as her favorite and says it is so beautiful she wants someone to wear it. Only Jade knows all these are for Garnet, so whatever she wants to wear, it should be there. Even though he does not know her taste, this many clothes must cover everything. Doromi excitedly tells him she wants to see someone wear that dress and asks him to call his wife. Jade is caught off guard and confused. Doromi points out that these dresses must belong to his wife, and she wants to meet and thank her for letting him stay. He stands there speechless while Doromi keeps calling his name. It hits him hard, and he thinks he is behaving degenerately. He becomes confused, unsure whether he should tell Doromi about his crush on Garnet. He also realizes he has never told anyone this. Distracting her, he asks if she is hungry and suggests she take a bath before they eat. He adds that he will buy her anything she wants. Hearing this, Doromi gets excited, while Jade believes he has successfully distracted her. Now, Doromi enjoys her bath. She comes out afterward and remarks that the bath felt incredibly refreshing, and the temperature was perfect. She tells him it is a shame he does not come back to his house more, considering how nice it is. Jade reminds her that, as an adventurer, he has to prioritize his work. He then insists that she go to sleep early since they need to leave early tomorrow. Meanwhile, Doromi cannot wait to sleep on the soft, fluffy bed. On the other hand, Jade is blushing as he also cannot wait to experience sharing that bed with Garnet. The thought of waking up beside her makes him feel wholesome. He is fired up to keep going back to the guild so he can experience a good married life soon. After that, Doromi spots something and notices his neighbor coming out. Jade recalls that his neighbors are actually a lovely elderly couple, but to his surprise, Garnet is walking outside. He pauses, hardly believing his eyes. Internally, he screams while blushing, wondering what she is doing here. He completely loses it, trying to understand why she is his neighbor. He thought there was an elderly couple living there. He reminds himself to calm down, but is extremely happy, even though nothing makes sense. He decides to introduce himself. Meanwhile, Doromi greets Garnet first. This gives Jade a feeling of defeat. As nothing makes sense, he still thinks this is a perfect chance to have a normal conversation with Garnet. He begins greeting her, but he cannot stop stuttering and is unable to say good evening properly. Blushing, he admits he is super nervous, but is grateful for a closer look at her. He wonders if this is the first time he has seen her dressed casually, finding her absolutely stunning. Panicking, he decides to remember this moment forever. He tries to calm down, telling himself to stay focused since he needs to introduce himself. Garnet observes him without saying a word. Still stuttering, he finally manages to say good evening, and she greets him back. Internally, he screams, believing he just had a casual conversation with her. Imagining their wedding, he thinks this is the start of their romance. Surprisingly, Garnet mentions she has finally managed to greet him. This makes Jade wonder if she also wanted to talk to him. She then states she just moved here and wanted to introduce herself to the neighbors. Now Jade fully understands. He knows Garnet is his neighbor, which gives him even more reason to come back home every day. While holding his head, fully absorbed in his thoughts, Doromi grabs him and reminds him she is hungry, insisting they should buy some food. Garnet then asks if Doromi is his sister. He replies that she is just a relative, and Doromi introduces herself with a cute smile. Garnet greets her and says her own name. After that, Jade also introduces himself. Garnet reveals she already knows his name since he comes to the guild every day. Her words make him feel blissful, admitting to himself that it is the happiest day of his life that she remembers his name. He bows and thanks her for remembering, as he had thought she did not since she always asks his name at the reception. However, Garnet explains that it is guild policy to ask every time. This makes Jade believe that even though he goes to her counter regularly, she still follows the rules, which makes her the perfect receptionist. After a moment of silence, Jade starts sweating as he runs out of topics. He stands and offers to carry her bag, but Garnet reveals it is light since the only thing inside is her underwear. Embarrassed, he did not expect that and wonders if he looks like a pervert. Doromi then asks Garnet where she is heading with her underwear. Garnet reveals she is going to the baths, as there are none in her house. Jade is grateful Doromi asked that, hoping she would invite Garnet to their bath and tell her how great it is. Unfortunately, Doromi simply waves and tells her to be careful. Internally, Jade screams. He then sees Garnet walking away and admits to himself that she looks perfect from behind as well. Seeing him smile at her, Domi bluntly asks if he loves Garnet. He casually admits that he does, but then stops mid-sentence, realizing he just said it aloud. He panics and tries to take it back, but Domi tells him not to be embarrassed. She confidently says she also loves him and is not embarrassed about it. Jade freaks out, asking if she really loves him. Domi proudly says he helped her out, so of course she loves him. He realizes her love is like puppy love in return for feeding her. Domi then asks if Garnet has helped him in some way. Jade says that since she is a guild receptionist, she has helped him many times since he became an adventurer. Domi suggests he give Garnet a flower as thanks for everything. When she sees him confused, she explains that Garnet smelled a little earthy, so her hobby must be gardening. Jade is stunned, realizing this is the first good advice anyone has given him. He is now eager to find a rare flower to give Garnet as a gift, and Domi is just as excited. Later, both arrive at the deserted plains. Domi asks how much farther they need to walk, and Jade says just a bit more. He reflects that today's quest is to subjugate a king scorpion, but they are not done yet. A moment later, they reach their destination, and he tells Domi to look up. There, a huge tree, the World Tree, stands before them. Their true objective is the World Tree. Domi is stunned by its size. Seeing the huge walls beside it, she wonders if the World Tree is someone's castle. Jade explains those are not walls but cuffs, and the tree is at the top. At the base of the World Tree, they will find the starflower. Jade recalls that for the past 2 weeks, he has been visiting different flower shops to find the best flower for a present. He learned that the starflower is the best choice. He cannot believe the starflower only blooms in such a place and is so rare that even shops do not have it. Domi wonders if they must climb the cliff to get the flower. Jade reveals there is a regular path, but it takes more than a week to reach. Internally, he wants to hurry and give the flower to Garnet, believing she will be very happy. Now both raise their hands, fired up to climb the cliff and pick the starflower before heading home. With that, Jade starts climbing the cliff with Domi on his shoulders. She is amazed by how fast he is climbing, admitting that holding onto his shoulders is easier than flying. Jade assures her she does not need to transform into a dragon since he is here to help. Domi admits he is so reliable, and Jade reminds her to hold on tight, as they will be there soon. Unexpectedly, they hear a loud scream from above the cliff. Jade pauses for a moment and wonders what is happening up there. Domi urges him to hurry, thinking something is going on above. As our hero senses something is happening above, he instructs Domi to hold on to him tightly because he will be going at full speed. Domi acknowledges and Jade accelerates, reaching the top in an instant. She lands on the ground and stops as someone screams again. She calls for him, informing him that a huge hornworm is attacking 2 girls ahead. Meanwhile, both girls have lost hope. On the other hand, he decides to act quickly. As the worm is about to attack, he arrives and slams it into the ground hard. Now, the dead body of the worm lies between the 2 girls and Jade, who realizes he arrived just in time. At that moment, the 2 girls start crying because they can't believe they are still alive. They thank him repeatedly. The short-haired girl notes that they were saved by Jade and thanks him sincerely. Her long-haired friend reveals that even her barrier was useless against the worm. Jade casually responds that it is nothing, saying instead that he is thankful to them. The 2 girls shout in confusion, and then he reveals that he is here for the flowers. When they turn around, they spot a bunch of starflowers. They realize he means the starflower, and he confirms with a warm smile. He explains that since the girls made a defensive barrier, the flowers are unharmed, so he thanks both of them sincerely. This amazes and surprises the 2 girls at the same time. They thank him in return, saying it was a dream for them to help him. With that, the 2 ladies leave while waving, and Jade waves back. Next, Domi smiles brightly and admits that he was super cool back there. After he thanks her, he feels grateful that the flowers are fine. They put one inside a soil pot, and Domi notes that it has started to bloom. He suggests they go home, saying he can't wait to give the flower to Garnet. Domi chuckles, equally excited, and he hopes that Garnet will like the flower. Unfortunately, when they return home, they find that the starflower has already withered. Both of them stare at it with lifeless faces. Jade cannot figure out what happened, since it was fine until now. Before he can fall apart, Domi suggests giving the flower some water. He waters the flower, and Domi believes this will solve everything, but nothing happens. Domi observes that the flower still didn't revive, and he hopelessly wonders what else they can try. Doremi innocently suggests they should cheer it on. Jade agrees, believing that a little encouragement might help. Both of them cheer for the flower, telling it that it can do it, that it can fight, and saying it is the best flower ever and it's not over yet. Still, the flower remains unchanged. Jade loses hope, but Doremi keeps thinking. She suggests they give the flower to Garnet before it withers completely. He protests giving a withered flower, but Doremi nervously says it is not completely dead and there is a chance that Garnet can help, since she knows a lot about flowers. After thinking, Jade reluctantly decides to give it to her, and Doremi cheers him on. Together, they go straight to Garnet's house and knock on her door. Getting no answer, he thinks that maybe Garnet is out taking a bath, so he decides to wait. Then he asks Doremi if they will scare Garnet when she finds them waiting there. Doremi protests, saying that since Jade is her neighbor, there is no reason for Garnet to be frightened. He then asks if he looks scary, and Doremi shakes her head. He insists that he is not a scary person, and Doremi suggests he say it louder. When he does, Garnet arrives, asking what the two of them are doing there. She stands in front of them in her casual dress, and both Jade and Doremi notice her hair is still wet, showing she just came from the shower. He sings inwardly about how beautiful she looks with wet hair, and thinks he could stare at her forever, but right now he has something more important to do. Both he and Doremi bow respectfully, apologizing and saying they did not mean to disturb her. Garnet says it is fine since they both seem to be having fun. Jade feels himself falling for her even more, thinking she now looks like an angel. He then bends a bit to pick up the flower and confidently gives Garnet the starflower, asking her to accept this gift from him and Doremi. Garnet points out that the gift should be given by the one who moved in. Although Jade agrees internally, he states that they give housewarming gifts in his hometown. He apologizes for giving her a withered flower, explaining he saw it and found it beautiful, but it withered by the time they got home. Garnet moves closer and observes the flower, which makes Jade notice her face is quite close. After looking at it, Garnet realizes it's a starflower. Doremi is surprised to see she knows about these and asks if she likes them. Garnet reveals she loves them. The word love makes Jade fantasize as if he is standing under fireworks, but he calms himself, reminding himself she is only talking about the flower. He asks if she can fix it. Unfortunately, Garnet, with a sad expression, reveals she cannot do anything since the flower needs nutrients from the world tree, and once removed, it can no longer stay healthy. This makes Jade regret not knowing how the flowers live. He feels sorry for the flower and for not researching enough. Garnet apologizes for not being able to help, but Jade shrugs it off, saying it is not her fault. He apologizes to her for even thinking of giving such a gift. Garnet states that she does not mind the gift and asks if she can have the flower. Jade is stunned and asks if she really wants it, even though it is completely withered. Garnet nods calmly. Seeing Jade not reacting, she asks if that's a no. He gives her the flower, thinking at least it can enjoy its last company. Surprisingly, Garnet tells him she doesn't need the pot. Jade then asks if she only wants the flower. Garnet reveals she plans to press the flower and turn it into a bookmark, wanting to preserve its natural beauty. Jade is amazed, and internally he rolls on the ground, knowing Garnet will turn his gift into a bookmark. He thanks Garnet sincerely, but she asks why he is being thankful, since he is the one giving her the gift. He corrects himself, saying that actually the flower wants to thank her. Garnet smiles faintly. Holding the flower, she tells it that it is very welcome, as she will treasure it forever. Jade blushes deeply and decides to leave, saying goodnight, and Garnet says goodnight in return. She also thanks him for the housewarming gift. Jade blushes again, welcomes her, and leaves with Doremi. On their way back, Doremi asks if their plan was a success. Jade feels relieved that everything went smoothly and believes it is all thanks to Doremi. Doremi happily mentions that he will help her, and she will help him, so she thinks he can depend on her. As he decides to depend on her, he offers to treat her to whatever she wants. Doremi's eyes sparkle as she enthusiastically says she wants to eat fish. The next day, inside the guild, Garnet is holding the starflower bookmark. Her colleagues spot her. One remarks that the bookmark is pretty cute, while another asks if she has used it before. Garnet shakes her head, explaining she received some flowers recently and, finding them beautiful, turned them into a bookmark. One colleague is amazed to learn the bookmark is handmade and says the flower looks pretty. Another asks who gave her the flowers. Garnet pauses and recalls Jade's face, which makes her blush a bit. She tells her colleagues that the flowers are from her neighbor, then leaves while her colleagues discuss what her neighbor might be like. It has been half a month since Jade gave flowers to Garnet, and today he is on a quest. Now he and Doremi are running toward the guild. As they reach the Royal Capital Guild Hall, he wipes off his sweat, relieved to have made it in time. Upon heading inside, he instructs Domi to wait for a bit. She acknowledges this, deciding to count bugs until he returns. Stepping into the guild, he prepares himself because it is time to go to Garnet's reception on the 18th. He finally approaches Garnet and shows her his manstone. Internally, he screams, finding her appearance fantastic. When Garnet asks his name, he tells her. She then requests him to wait a moment, confirming that the stone is from the Chimera Subjugation quest. As she begins to inspect it, their conversation is interrupted by a strange sound coming from her side. A moment of silence passes between them. He wonders about the source of the sound and, upon seeing Garnet's embarrassed face, realizes it came from her stomach. He finds her expression adorable, noticing the blush on her face, but decides this is not the time to get excited. He considers breaking the tension with a light remark, perhaps saying she shouldn't worry because Domi is always hungry. Quickly, he rejects that idea. While he ponders his next move, he notes that Garnet is nearly finished with her inspection. He wonders if it would be better to pretend he heard nothing. In the next moment, Garnet hands him a check for 30 million gold, and he thanks her. He then turns to leave, telling her he will come back the next day for another quest. As he steps out of the guild, he reflects that if he asked for the next quest now, her stomach would probably growl again. Outside, Domi spots him and proudly announces that she counted 18 bugs today, setting a new record. After congratulating her, he decides to eat out in celebration. Domi grows excited at the idea, though he notes that they always eat outside. Later, they enter a restaurant, causing Domi to beam with excitement. Surprisingly, no one else is there, and she believes they will have the place to themselves. He feels slightly embarrassed, admitting that even though he chose this place, it has been years since his last visit. Before taking custody of Domi, he hardly ever went to restaurants. Still, he remembers the stew contains plenty of meat and the seafood is good. Domi decides to order stew. The restaurant owner arrives and recognizes Jade, surprised to see him again. Jade insists there's no need for modesty, adding that the amazing aroma proves how great the place is. The owner smiles, obviously flattered. Domi then introduces herself, revealing her fondness for stew. She requests a large serving of meat, while Jade opts for seafood. He mentions that the herbs used previously tasted great. The owner confirms their order and adds that Jade is lucky, as they are almost out of the seafood plate. Then the owner heads off to prepare their food. After a few minutes, their meal arrives, a large serving of stew and an herb-grilled seafood plate. Both Jade and Domi find the food visually appealing and begin eating immediately. Their first bites satisfy them completely. He notes how the fresh aroma of herbs envelopes the fish, making it especially delicious, while Domi finds the meat exceptionally tasty. Suddenly, a new customer enters the restaurant. The owner welcomes the person, explaining that they can sit anywhere due to the lack of other customers. The newcomer sits right beside Jade, and unexpectedly it is Garnet. He blushes immediately, wondering why she is there. He even speculates if she followed him to have dinner together, but soon hears her order her usual meal, realizing she is just a regular customer here. Still, he can't help but wonder what she usually orders. Unexpectedly, the owner apologizes to Garnet, explaining that the seafood platter is sold out. He panics upon realizing she orders the seafood platter regularly. Jade feels guilty for having taken the last one, depriving her of one of her few after-work pleasures. Garnet simply says it is a shame, but her disappointment makes him feel even worse. He gets up right away and asks the owner if he can go find some fish. Garnet looks shocked, and the owner murmurs in disbelief, saying he appreciates the sentiment, but cannot let Jade run errands for the restaurant. Internally, Jade knows he is only doing this for Garnet, since she won't be satisfied otherwise. He insists, holding the owner's hands, that he shouldn't be so modest and offers to cover the costs himself. He says he is just in the mood to buy fish and wants to know where he can get some. Unfortunately, the owner reveals that it isn't possible to buy any from the market at the moment. Jade asks if something happened. The owner explains that rumors say a coastal monster is roaming the shoreline, causing fishing boats to sink in the area. Jade frowns, realizing this must be the work of a monster. Meanwhile, Domi bangs on the table, lamenting that it is unforgivable for a monster to keep all the fish to itself. She adds that she also wanted to eat the seafood plate. Jade agrees, finding it unacceptable that Garnet is being deprived of one of her simple pleasures. He asks Garnet if there is a subjugation request for the monster. Garnet remembers and confirms that there is indeed a rank 6 subjugation quest open for it. Because it is a rank 6 task, Jade realizes he never saw it before, as each adventurer is assigned quests matching their rank. This one is set for rank 6 adventurers, while he is rank 10. He also knows that if a request remains open too long, it can be reassigned to the next level, but this one would take too long to reach him. As a rank 10, it would set a bad precedent if he broke the rules to take a lower ranking quest. He then considers whether he could solve the problem another way. If he goes fishing and the monster attacks him, he could defeat it in self-defense without breaking any guild rules. With this plan, he feels motivated to head to the ocean so Garnet can enjoy her favorite seafood again. The next day, Domi and Jade arrive at the coastal area, where many birds are flying overhead. When Domi sees a huge villa, she asks if it belongs to him. She thinks it looks like a castle. Jade explains that he bought it 2 years ago and expects it to be dusty inside. Domi asks why he even has a villa in a port city. Smiling, he reveals that the sunsets here are beautiful. He recalls coming here on a quest, looking over the horizon and seeing the setting sun. At that moment, he thought that if Garnet saw the view, she would be enchanted and become romantic, leading to a kiss. The thought makes him blush and cover his face. He reflects that he bought the villa on impulse, spending quite a lot, and knows he can't tell anyone the real reason. He opens the door, and Domi comments that he must really like sunsets. Jade points out the fishing equipment laid out before them, explaining that he bought the set with Garnet in mind, hoping to enjoy fishing together. He even bought a third rod in case they have a child. Excited to finally use the gear, he prepares for the day. Domi asks if he will use the rod to catch the monster, but he replies that it is only for fishing. He adds that it may take some time for the monster to appear, so he plans to pass the time by fishing. Deep down, he hopes to catch a specific fish so the owner can cook yesterday's dish again, and he can have a casual dinner with Garnet. He believes Garnet's affection for him will grow if he mentions catching the fish himself. With that, he tells Domi to head to the harbor. At the fishing harbor, he feels the tense atmosphere among the people, noticing the stress on their faces. He suspects they are all affected by the sea monster. Domi waves, announcing that their boat has arrived. Upon seeing it, she asks if it is one of those small boats with boom tents, and Jade confirms it is. He explains that it's perfect for watching the sunset while sailing, and that he bought it along with the villa. Domi realizes he truly loves sunsets, but Jade is only interested in seeing how Garnet looks in the afterglow. He then suggests Domi step inside the boat. As she is about to board, someone behind them yells, "Not to go out to sea." Jade supports Domi, who nearly falls, and both turn to see a group of people glaring at them furiously. When our hero asks why they can't go, an elderly man explains that 15 moons ago a kraken was spotted, so he believes sailing now would be extremely dangerous. Jade, however, still wants to go out to sea. The elderly man, realizing he will not be dissuaded, adds that perhaps the small size of Jade's boat will help, as the kraken may not notice them. Hearing this, Jade's plan of using his boat as bait feels pointless now. He reasons that if he cannot use the boat as intended, searching for the monster himself would take too long. Since he cannot be away from Garnet for very long, he places a large pile of money in front of the group. Then, pointing at a large ship, he proposes borrowing it, offering a deal that would be hard for anyone to refuse. The elderly man reveals that the ship belongs to him, and no amount of money will convince him to let anyone use it. Jade insists, promising to pay the full price if the ship is damaged. Meanwhile, Domi tells the old man how strong Jade is. The crowd suddenly realizes he is the hero, Jade, and they also recognize the sword he carries. One fisherman asks if he is there to eliminate the monster. Jade explains that he is only there for fishing, as his rank is too high for this subjugation request. However, if he is fishing and the monster attacks him, he will have the right to defend himself, and the guild will not object. The old man, shocked, asks if Jade is truly planning to use himself as bait, even without compensation, and wonders why he would go so far. At that moment, Domi beams and says they are just returning the favor. She adds that the fish here taste so good that they want to thank everyone for what they have done. The fishermen are touched by this, amazed that even a hero would think of them. The elderly man, moved, gives Jade permission to use the ship freely. With that, Domi and Jade set out to sea with the ship. Once in the ocean, Domi notes that nothing seems to be going their way. Jade suggests fishing, and Domi gets excited at the chance to catch a big fish. Time passes with no luck, and both start to feel bored. Eventually, Jade catches something. After reeling it in, he finds it's only a small fish, but Domi finds it tasty. This makes her determined not to lose to him. As more time passes, Jade manages to catch a total of 5 fish, which leaves Domi wondering if the fish actually hate her. Jade suggests they switch spots, believing she's just in a bad place for fishing. Unexpectedly, Domi's rod moves and she gets excited, thinking she has caught a huge fish that will fill her up for a week. Eagerly, she pulls her rod. To her shock, a huge monster appears and she screams in panic. Jade quickly realizes that this is the monster. When Domi asks what it is, he explains that it's a marine scorpion, but its size is abnormal. Domi starts throwing rocks at it, yelling for it to go away, but her efforts have no effect. The monster begins attacking their ship. Panicking, Domi cries out that at this rate, their ship will sink. Jade reassures her, revealing that he has already fortified the ship with magic. All that remains is to defeat the monster. He leaps and punches the monster hard, defeating it instantly. Then he returns to the ship. Later, as they come ashore, everyone watches them in awe. The fishermen sincerely thank him, grateful that they can now fish in peace. Jade shrugs it off, but then the crowd turns to Domi, discussing how she was the one who caught the monster, and they thank her as well. Meanwhile, Jade is eager to return home, knowing Garnet will finally be able to enjoy seafood again. Back in the capital, Domi says she is hungry. Jade suggests they eat at the restaurant again. As they walk there, he reflects that Garnet should be there, as she is the type to enjoy her food thoroughly. To his surprise, he spots her standing in the street. He immediately calls out to her, which makes Garnet remark on his energy. He proudly admits that it's his only redeeming feature. Internally, he feels glad to be able to talk casually with his crush. He tells Garnet that their meeting is a coincidence and asks if she is heading home. When she nods, Jade mentions that he just returned from a fishing trip and shows her the fish he caught. Domi adds that she caught a monster on the ship. When Garnet says that must have been scary, Domi replies that she calmed herself by throwing rocks at it. Garnet says it's good to be prepared with rocks. Domi proudly says she always carries rocks, so she is always ready to fight. She then describes how the monster tried to cut the ship with its massive claws. Garnet admits that they were in a very dangerous situation. Domi continues, saying she kept her cool while staring into the monster's eyes. After that, Garnet asks Jade if he was the one who defeated the monster. He nods and adds that seafood shipments will resume from tomorrow. Garnet feels relieved to hear this. She then asks if he will go to the guild tomorrow. Jade nods, mentioning that he couldn't go today, but will go tomorrow. Unexpectedly, Garnet asks if something is wrong. Jade shakes his head and reminds her that he said he was going to take a quest today. Garnet says she remembers, which is why she was worried something might have happened. Panicked, he asks if she was truly worried about him. She asks if that is really surprising. Jade blushes, pointing out that she knows he is the hero and a rank 10 adventurer. He is stunned, as he never expected anyone to worry about him, but now he learns that Garnet was actually concerned. He then wonders if she thinks he is unreliable. Surprisingly, Garnet shakes her head and says she doesn't see him as Jade the hero, but more like her little brother. After a pause, Jade asks if she thinks of him as family, but she shakes her head again and repeats that he is just like a little brother. Curiously, he asks why she thinks that. Internally, he is certain he has never done anything to make her see him that way. Garnet explains that she has been watching him grow since he was 12. Now, Jade understands why she acts more casually in private. Still, this makes him happy. He feels lonely when everyone treats him like a hero and puts him on a pedestal, so he is grateful to have people who see him as a normal person. Reality soon hits him, and he realizes that if Garnet sees him as a little brother, he may have no chance with her. Still, he reminds himself not to give up hope since they aren't related by blood. He asks where she plans to go, and Garnet reveals she is heading to a restaurant for dinner. Jade asks if she is going to the same one as yesterday, and when she confirms, he reveals they are also going there. He says they will ask the owner to cook the fish they caught, and invite her to try some too. Garnet asks if he is sure. He nods confidently, saying they caught plenty of fish, so she would be helping them by joining. Garnet feels happy to help. With that, he announces they will go eat together. Walking beside her, Jade notices how wonderful Garnet smells. He admits to himself that she always looks beautiful up close, but there's something captivating about seeing her from the side. Walking shoulder to shoulder, he feels as if they are on a date. He wonders what he can do to make this moment last forever. They arrive at the restaurant in just a few seconds. Jade decides that he wants to become a regular so he can eat with Garnet every day. Domi happily announces their arrival to the owner, who welcomes everyone. Domi then tells him they caught some fish, which leaves the owner stunned as he asks if they really went out to sea. Jade nods, stating that after defeating the monster, getting fish will be easy. Domi requests the owner cook the fish right away. The owner thanks them and unexpectedly mentions that today will be his last day cooking something delicious. Jade is confused. Garnet steps forward and offers the owner a flower bouquet. Jade wonders if today is the owner's birthday. Garnet sincerely thanks him for all the delicious food he has cooked over the years. As the owner accepts the flowers, he thanks her, but Jade still feels something is off, as it doesn't seem like a birthday celebration. He finally asks what's going on. The old owner explains that he has grown old, having run the restaurant for 50 years and has decided to move to the countryside to live with his daughter and her husband. Jade is shocked, especially since he just planned to eat here with Garnet every day to get closer to her. Meanwhile, Domi gives the owner a stone. Jade then offers his money as a retirement fund, but the old man says the gesture is more than enough. As they wait for their food, Jade notes how close he and Garnet are sitting, their elbows touching. He thinks it's a pity that this is happening just as the restaurant is closing. Seeing his expression, Garnet asks why he is crying. Jade says he feels sad about the restaurant's closure. Garnet points out that this is the second time she has seen him today. He explains he became a fan of the seafood after eating here yesterday. The owner arrives with their food, pleased to hear how much Jade enjoys it. As soon as they take their first bites, both Jade and Domi find it delicious. Garnet observes them with a warm smile. All three share a brief, happy moment together. One evening, after completing another quest, Domi is waiting for Jade in the streets. There, a group of small kids ask Domi about the kind of adventure she went on today. She proudly states she and Jade went to eliminate a hydra. Although it was scary, they faced it head-on. She explains that she was just watching Jade's back while he defeated the monster in a single blow. All the kids get excited as they find them cool. Therefore, they demand more stories to hear. When Domi starts telling another story, Jade appears as he mutters her name from behind. Domi comments that he has finished reporting the quest already, but seeing his shocked face makes her yell at him, wondering what's gotten into him. Moving back to a couple of minutes ago, Domi happily announced they have finished with another quest. Therefore, she suggested they head to the guild and inform Garnet. Jade looked happy thinking about Garnet. He believed his life has gotten upgraded because he can now hold casual conversations with her. He thought that maybe a day would come when he would ask her out. They reached the guild as Jade instructed Domi to wait for him outside. Then, Domi decided to tell the others about their adventure. Jade noted she has become popular with the other kids. Inside the guild, he finds Garnet looking absolutely stunning. He reflected that in the past, he would have been nervous just trying to say a single word to her, but now things have changed. With a cool attitude, Jade tells her his name and informs her he has finished the quest as he shows her the monostone. Garnet asks him to wait a bit. Deep down, he is so proud of himself for being so cool under pressure. As he is observing Garnet, who starts observing the stone, she coughs. He wonders if she coughed, but when she coughs again, Jade figures she is indeed coughing. He freezes as he wonders if she is not feeling well. He becomes overprotective of her, thinking she looks in great pain and wondering if this is one of those dangerous diseases. He is worried so much. Meanwhile, Garnet completes the inspection and offers him 25 million gold. Jade immediately leaves as he thanks her, adding he will come tomorrow for the next quest. Garnet acknowledges him as she coughs again. He steps outside, reflecting that he didn't want to bother her by asking questions when she was working, but he thinks it might be their last farewell. Now in the present, Domi spots him and asks what's wrong with him. As he tells her everything, Domi makes a sad face. Then, Jade decides to find a medicine which can cure any kind of illness in an instant. Domi asks if that kind of medicine even exists. Even though Jade doesn't know, he still wants to find some. He says he can't just sit idly when someone is suffering right in front of his eyes. Meanwhile, the kids get excited to see Jade the hero. Domi, being worried about Garnet's health, is also ready to help. Jade thanks her, while Domi mentions Garnet is her friend too, so she will help. After that, Jade states he has set aside 1 billion gold. Now they only need someone skilled in making those kinds of medicines. With that, they head to the apothecary. Stepping inside, Domi sees a number of jars preserving eyeballs. This scares her to death as she screams loudly. She cries, yelling they need to get out of this place as soon as possible or they will be cut into pieces. However, Jade assures her as he explains this is all for medicinal purposes. Domi goes pale as she believes they are going to need her body to make things. Jade calmly says she will be fine, plus she has a protection status from the country. When Domi finally calms down, someone from behind whispers in her ear, asking her identity. As Doromi turns, she sees that the person behind her is carrying an instrument which is fully covered with blood along with her apron. Doromi screams in fear while the apron girl asks if she is lost or something. In fear, Doromi stutters as she demands that the apron girl not get near her because she doesn't taste good. That apron girl calmly apologizes for scaring her. She explains she was busy dissecting some monsters and asks if she wants to watch. Right then, Jade calls the apron girl Shurin as he greets her. Surin realizes it's Jade and is a bit stunned that he still remembers her. Then, Jade states that the time when Ku gave her lecture on making meds left a vivid impression on him. After that, Jade introduces Surin, the shopkeeper's granddaughter, to Doromi. He adds that Ku is the physician who is the owner of this place. Surin asks what's his purpose for coming to the shop. Jade explains that they need medicine and need Ku to make some. He asks if she isn't here today. Unfortunately, Surin reveals that her grandmother retired and left for the countryside. Thinking about the old restaurant owner, Jade wonders if housing is cheaper in the countryside. While thinking, Jade says that this is a problem, as Ku is the one who can blend perfectly. Fortunately, Surin reveals that she can now make almost any medicine, which startles Jade. He thinks that Surin is trained under Ku, so as long as it's her, she should be able to make the medicine. The next moment, Jade bows as he explains there is a girl who is suffering in pain, so he is begging her to save her life. Surin confidently says he can leave it to her. Next, she asks if that girl is suffering from full-body paralysis. She wants to know what that girl's symptoms are. While recalling how Garnet coughed, Jade states she has a cough and she keeps holding her throat while frowning her eyebrows. Then, Surin simply says he can grab a cough medicine from the shelf. Jade yells, asking if those are specially made. Surin shakes her head, stating they are typically run-of-the-mill cough medicine. Jade protests as he just can't go with a typical medicine. He adds it's not a typical cough. Surin asks if she was vomiting blood. Jade shakes his head and states she is coughing a lot. When Surin asks if this is all, Jade nods. After turning her head, Surin insists she doesn't need any medicine then. Jade gets shocked, asking if she can't do anything. Surin states clearly she won't be of any help. Still, Jade begs her to save Garnet. After taking a brief pause, Surin finally decides to do something for him. When Jade thanks her sincerely, she shrugs it off and asks about any other thing he has noted. He states that Garnet looked a bit fatigued. Therefore, Surin recommends taking a medicine which stops her croup and removes her fatigue. With that, she starts making something like that right now. Meanwhile, Jade and Doromi tell her to ask anything if she needs help. Then, Surin asks Doromi to grab her a bottle. Grabbing that bottle, Doromi wonders about the red juice inside it. Unexpectedly, Surin reveals it's dragon blood. It scares Doromi to death. Watching her acting like that, Surin asks what happened to her. Jade apologizes, explaining Doromi is sensitive with that kind of stuff. Meanwhile, Doromi is crying, yelling that she already knew this place was bad news. Therefore, she gets advice for waiting outside. After some time, Surin announces the medicine has been made. She has made a cough suppressant and something to treat fatigue. Both Doromi and Jade look happy. After thanking her, Jade asks how much it is for. Surin reveals it costs 30,000 gold and Jade gets stunned. Surin explains that ordinary stuff would have cost him 2,000 gold, but as this medicine has rarer ingredients, it costs much more. However, Jade is stunned because he didn't expect something like this would only cost 30,000 gold. He likes the medicine, and Surin thanks him for his patronage. With that, Jade along with Doromi heads to Garnet's house. Standing right in front of her house, Jade decides to deliver the medicine to her. If she is not inside, then they will just wait outside. Hearing the word outside, Doromi recalls that the other day, he thought Garnet would think of him as a weirdo for waiting outside her house. But Jade says that things are different now. As he knocks at her door, he believes that her treatment takes priority, so he doesn't care what she thinks of him. Suddenly, Garnet opens the door. Jade blushes and gets relief seeing her alive. Meanwhile, Garnet gets surprised seeing him but wishes him good evening. After greeting her back, Jade requests her to take the medicine, which is effective in countering cough and fatigue. She curiously asks why he is giving it to her. He states he has seen her coughing at work and insists she drink this before it's too late. Meanwhile, Doromi suggests taking it all in one sip. But surprisingly, Garnet reveals she doesn't need it as she is feeling better. Jade gets stunned as he asks if she had the cure all along. Garnet shakes her head as she admits she got better on her own, as it was just a fish bone stuck in her throat. Now Jade gets the full picture, but he thought she was really sick. Then, Garnet mentions she didn't know he was that worried about her. Putting on a serious face, Jade admits he was worried because she is special. He pauses mid-sentence while Garnet repeats his words to know what he means. Right then, while blushing, he changes the sentence and adds that she is a special receptionist to the guild. A brief moment of silence passes. Then Jade panics inside, thinking he almost confessed to her. He believes he needs to confess after knowing each other better. He starts explaining to Garnet that there are many receptionists at the guild, but she is different. She is the receptionist he is fond of the most. He adds that it's the same reason why she gave flowers to the old man at her favorite restaurant. Blushing a bit, Garnet decides to accept it. She asks if it's all right for her to still accept the medicine. He panically asks if she is still sick. She shakes her head, revealing it's not her, but her flowers that need it. Noting in his head that she likes gardening, he gives the medicine to her. Holding the medicine bottle, she decides to use it right away. As she turns away, she asks him to come inside to see the flowers she is raising. Jade gets stunned, wondering if she is inviting him over. Garnet mentions the flowers are just upstairs. Seeing Jade getting surprised, she asks if it is that surprising. Internally, he admits that it is because the woman he loves is inviting him to her house. However, he also tries to calm himself down. With that, both Domi and Jade head in. As they step in, Jade reminds himself to calm down and think straight. He believes if he keeps acting all weird, then Garnet will definitely be creeped out. Seeing her living room, Jade finds her place amazing. He can't believe he is actually at her place. Seeing her dining table, he imagines having dinner at that very table. Meanwhile, Domi spots two flowers in poor condition. She says they need to hurry up and save them, while Jade hopes the medicine will work. Garnet puts the medicine in the soil. In just a couple of seconds, the flowers turn healthy. Jade remarks that the flowers look like they are revived, while Domi excitedly comments that Surin's medicine is pretty good. Garnet is also glad to see the flowers looking healthy. Jade internally thanks Surin sincerely. Garnet turns to them as she thanks them for helping her. Both of them shrug it off. Soon, Domi's stomach growls, and then she reveals her tummy is empty. Learning this, Garnet states she was thinking about going out for dinner. She adds she is trying to look for a new favorite restaurant. Therefore, she asks if they are willing to join her. Jade agrees instantly, but he also asks if she is fine with that. Garnet says she doesn't see any problem. Internally, Jade jumps as he is happy that Garnet is inviting him for dinner. Seeing him smile like that, Garnet gets curious about it, but Jade covers it up by saying he is just too hungry. With that, Garnet turns as she suggests they head out. Putting on a warm smile, Jade agrees. A few days later, Jade, lying in his bed, recalls the time he spent with Garnet. It was amazing. Not only did they talk casually, but they had dinner together as well. He thinks about today so much that it has become hard for him to get some sleep. He believes they are going along quite well. Suddenly, he hears a heavy sound which makes him get up. Domi, beside him, also gets up wondering about the sound. Jade observes the sound is not coming from his house, but from the outside. Realizing something, he starts running towards Garnet, asking if she is fine. Surprisingly, Garnet bursts in. While sweating, she requests him to help her out. She tells him to check the second-floor bedroom. Seeing her feeling scared to death, Jade believes that there is indeed something going on. He frowns, wondering if it could be a robber. Willing to help her, he reveals he came here for that in the first place. He tells her to stay close, as he thinks this area is still dangerous. He also instructs Domi to protect Garnet. Then he goes straight to Garnet's house. Internally, he decides to eliminate the person who came here if they steal something from his beloved's house. He reaches the bedroom as Garnet asked him to. Inside, the bedroom is full of clothes spread on the floor. Seeing the mess, Domi asks Garnet if she is bad at cleaning. But Garnet mentions it is usually tidier than this. Jade grits his teeth, wondering if she has fought the attacker here. This makes him furious as he thinks it's dirty to attack her in the middle of the night. In order to find the attacker, he searches the room for clues. After searching everything, he concludes there is no one. Then Garnet points out they must be under the bed. Jade gets surprised. As he lifts the bed, he doubts something big could hide under it. But to his surprise, as soon as he lifts the bed, something comes out and instantly moves to another direction. Jade grows confused. Garnet screams and then holds Domi tightly in fear. Domi assures her as she mentions she is right next to her, which makes Garnet think she is very reliable. Seeing them, Jade gets jealous as he also wants to comfort Garnet. Seeing the culprit, Jade finds out it's nothing but just a spider. Garnet says spiders are scary, and Domi agrees. She reveals that one day she ate a spider and got a tummy ache. Seeing Garnet in shock, Jade decides to deal with the spider. But as soon as he begins reaching for it, the spider runs and hides under Garnet's clothes. He thinks that hiding under her clothes is nothing but pure unfairness. The thought of touching her clothes drives him crazy, as it will be way too stimulating for him. Seeing him standing still, Garnet asks if he is bad with spiders as well. He instantly shakes his head. He decides to deal with the spider as soon as possible, or the girls are going to believe he is also scared of them. He closes his eyes as he tries to catch the spider under her clothes, but the spider starts running again. This time, Jade doesn't want it to get away. He catches it, opens the window, and throws it outside. Domi makes a confused face while Garnet finally takes relief. Jade smiles warmly for a moment, but then he apologizes for breaking her bed while going overboard. Garnet shrugs it off as she mentions she was going to replace it. When Jade thanks her, Garnet replies she should be the one thanking him. She adds she is glad to have him as her neighbor. Jade feels total bliss. He blushes hard recalling what she just said. He believes that soon they will be considered as friends. Then he points out that the stores must be closed at this time. However, Garnet says that only one side is broken. But Jade insists that is a problem. He thinks it would be bad if it completely breaks while she is asleep. He gets worried as he finds himself guilty for causing her trouble with sleep. Therefore, he suggests she take his bed. But then, Garnet points out he will have trouble sleeping. However, Jade insists he likes sleeping on the floor. Domi says she will sleep on the sofa, as she can do anything to help her friend. Feeling warmness, Garnet thanks both of them. She feels grateful having friends like them. Jade blushes as he recalls what she just said. That means he has become Garnet's friend. With that, he leaves to grab his bed as he requests Garnet to wait a bit. After a few minutes, Jade finally places his bed in her bedroom. Seeing the lavish bed, Garnet thinks it's expensive, but Jade insists she feel free to use it. Still, Garnet protests taking the bed. Therefore, Domi suggests they trade beds instead. Jade panics a bit. He thinks they can't just take her bed, as he believes Domi is asking for too much. Unexpectedly, Garnet accepts the offer, which makes Jade cover his face because it actually happened. After that, Garnet thanks both of them for their work today. Jade shrugs it off and tells her to call him if there is another spider. As her friend, he will come to help her. Garnet says she will be counting on him then. Those words send Jade into eternal bliss, as he is grateful to be born. Later, Domi is sleeping soundly on Garnet's bed, but it's too much for Jade to sleep on it, even if it's in his own house. He slowly lies on the bed under the quilt. After lying down, he notes that this exactly smells like Garnet. He feels embarrassed by it, but he thinks he will have some good dreams. But to his surprise, he has trouble sleeping. Eventually, morning comes, and he gets up with dark circles. Domi asks if he has stayed up all night. He reveals that Garnet didn't let him sleep, and he didn't get a wink of sleep. Meanwhile, in a particular town, a small girl is starting her journey towards the capital. She wants to become an adventurer just like Jade. Domi rubs her eyes as she mentions today's monster was very tough. She didn't expect it would take until morning to eliminate it. Jade laughs softly, agreeing with her. Now, both of them are sitting at the station waiting for a train to return to the capital. Suddenly, Jade notices something. He notes that a small girl in front has been looking at them for a while. Wondering if she needs something from them, he asks if he can help. That girl is actually the one who started her journey to become an adventurer. She hesitantly nods her head and unexpectedly requests to see under his feet. Jade grows confused. Meanwhile, Domi asks if she needs them to take off their shoes. The girl with a backpack clarifies that she only wants to look under the bench. Therefore, both of them get up. After looking under the seat, the backpack girl concludes her item is not there. Domi worriedly asks if she has lost something, and the girl mutters that she lost her money. Jade asks how much she has lost, and she regretfully reveals she has lost all of it. She weeps, revealing it is only her second day of becoming an adventurer, and now everything is gone. Jade thinks she hasn't been around for too long. He states she had some bad luck, then asks where she was headed. The girl confidently tells him she planned on going to the capital, as she always wanted her first quest issued at the Capital Guild. Seeing her, Jade recalls his own days when he was just a novice like her. He asks her name, and she says she is Marin, almost 12 years old. Jade tells her that she needs to be at least 12 years old to register as an adventurer. He also recalls that he registered right on his 12th birthday. He tells her they are heading to the capital, then he suggests buying her a ticket. Marin gets confused and asks why he wants to do that. Jade smiles warmly as he reveals he wants to help others, adding he doesn't have any reason other than that. Marin feels flattered, yet she feels bad for accepting his favor for free. Therefore, Jade suggests she pay him back after she gets her first paycheck as an adventurer. He adds that she can take her time since he lives in the capital. Domi also agrees to wait for it too. Marin beams as she sincerely thanks them. Later, the train arrives and Jade tells them to head back to the capital. Their journey begins, and Marin asks how long it will take for them to reach their destination. Jade tells her they will reach it around dusk. He also tells her not to worry, as he has planned to give her money later for a hotel. Marin smiles as she reveals she has a place to stay, so he doesn't need to worry about that. Her sister lives in the capital, so she will live with her. Domi asks if her sister is an adventurer as well. Marin answers that she works at the guild and doesn't come home often, so she is excited to see her. Jade adds that guild staff are pretty busy. He thinks the staff working on the counters are especially occupied, reflecting that few people have the right magic to appraise stones. He asks if her sister works as a receptionist. Marin nods and adds that her sister has the support flower crest. Therefore, she thinks it must be her class too. Jade explains that the guild will determine her flower crest, but he adds that getting the support crest has the lowest probability of them all. He further explains that the orders go in this rank: Geared, Attacker, Enhancer, and then Support. Marin gets a bit disappointed that it is in third place. This makes Jade ask if she wants to become an Enhancer. She nods confidently, adding that she wants to become like Jade, and that is why she wants the Enhancer crest like him. Jade gets stunned hearing his name from her. Marin then asks if he has met Jade at the capital. Domi mutters that she has. Then she casually reveals that this guy is Jade. Marin freezes for a moment, and then she spots Jade's flower crest. She yells that he has the Enhancer flower crest and it is fully bloomed. She asks if he is the real Jade, and Jade calmly nods his head. Realizing he is Jade, Marin gets excited, mentioning she is a big fan of his. She mutters that she always wanted to become like him after hearing stories from her sister. She adds that whenever her sister comes back home, she always talks about him, considering him a super hard worker. Jade, a bit embarrassed, thanks her. Then Domi asks if her sister ever mentioned her in those stories. Thinking a bit, Marin states they met last year and she didn't hear anything about Domi. This makes Domi confidently predict that this year there will be lots of stories about her as well. She adds that Marin will hear stories about a girl who bravely accompanies Jade through thick and thin. Marin curiously asks what kind of adventures they go on. Domi boasts as she shares her tales, and both girls get busy discussing their adventures. At dusk, they arrive at the capital. Jade asks Marin if her sister is going to pick her up. Marin nods as she thanks him for the help and thanks Domi for the fun stories. Domi tells her she can visit if she wants to hear more, while Jade wishes her luck for her quests. Marin leaves as she waves at them, while Jade decides to head back home. Meanwhile, Domi is feeling super sleepy. Reaching home, Jade changes Domi's clothes and she falls onto the bed to sleep. At night, she wakes up feeling hungry, but Jade reveals he is about to sleep. Domi protests, saying she can't sleep on an empty stomach. She drools as she wishes to eat some chicken or ribs. Jade cuts her speech short, agreeing they will get food. As they head out, Jade reflects that he can't let her drool on Garnet's bed. Suddenly, Marin calls out to both of them. Unexpectedly, Marin and Garnet are walking together. Seeing them together, Jade gets stunned. He wonders why the two are here. Seeing them hand in hand, Jade greets them and wonders if they are related. Garnet greets him back and tells him she has heard everything from Marin. She adds she is grateful that they helped her sister. Now he realizes that Marin is actually Garnet's little sister. He recalls Marin saying she heard about him from her sister. He blushes, wondering if Garnet calls him Jade-kun as well. He blushes even more as he recalls that Garnet complimented him by calling him a super hard worker. He feels so happy. But then Garnet tells him she will pay him back, as Marin will take a long time to do so. Jade shrugs it off instantly as he believes they all help each other out. Garnet points out he has helped her so much more, but Jade doesn't care much about it. He believes it is proper neighbor etiquette. On top of that, he adds they are friends. Garnet smiles warmly. Marin gets surprised to find her sister is friends with Jade, and Garnet confirms it. Jade is over the moon hearing Garnet say they are friends. Next, he suggests that all of them go eat together. Jade clenches his fist, noting this is the first time he has asked her directly. If she accepts, it will make it easier for him to ask her out in the future. However, Garnet reveals she has to decline as they have already eaten. She adds that they can share a meal on another day. Jade smiles brightly as he agrees with her. With that, Garnet and her sister head towards their home. The next day, someone knocks on the door. He opens it and finds Garnet standing there, so he greets her. He wonders if he is dreaming, but after pinching himself, he realizes he is awake. Soon he realizes she looks a bit different. Then he sees her wearing a skirt and finds her adorable. He knows she usually wears pants with casual dressing. Therefore, he decides to etch this into his memory. He knows staring at her skirt will be bad for him, but he really wants to see it. He struggles between looking and trying not to look. Meanwhile, Garnet notes his eyes are wandering. He covers it up by saying it is too bright outside. Then he points out she is in casual clothes today. She reveals she goes to work in her casual clothes and changes into her uniform at the guild. Jade has now learned something new about her. He asks if she is going to work. She nods, but then adds she needs to do something before that, as she has something to discuss with him. Jade gets really curious about what she wants to talk about. He yells that he will be fine with it, even if it takes years, although Garnet states it will only take a couple of minutes. As Jade acknowledges her, he asks what is on her mind. After frowning a bit, she asks if he planned to go to the guild today. He nods immediately, but she then makes a sad face. She turns as she says that's all she wanted to talk about. Then she apologizes for disturbing him. After a brief pause, Jade wonders if that was really all. He stops her by saying she has a request that he will happily hear. Garnet turns back. Meanwhile, Jade thinks that she knows he visits the guild every day, yet she came here this early to confirm it. He concludes that she must have some personal request for him. As Garnet comes back, he tells her he will help her out because they are friends, so she doesn't need to hold back. After thinking a bit, Garnet reveals she is here to ask a favor regarding Marin. Then, Jade gets a bit worried. Garnet says she wants him to watch over Marin during the day. Jade repeats her words, and Garnet explains that she can fully trust him with her sister. She asks if this will be a problem for him. Jade is stunned as he wonders if she truly trusts him that much. He confidently accepts her request, adding that he was just going to the guild to report yesterday's quest anyway. Garnet thanks him warmly. She reveals that since she can only ask him and Domi for a favor like this, it is a big help. Jade feels warmth as he repeats her words. Internally, however, he weeps with joy as he finally sees the results of the efforts he has put in for the past 10 years. He asks if Marin is still at home, and Garnet nods, saying the girl is still sleeping, but that she will wake her up to tell her the news. Next, unexpectedly, Garnet asks if she looks strange in a skirt. Jade reacts instantly, asking why she would ask him that. Garnet says it is because he has been glancing at her. Jade insists it is not like that. Rather, he was thinking that while her usual style suits her, the skirt matches her very well too. After blushing a bit, Garnet says she can calm down while wearing a skirt, but notes this one was a present from her sister. She feels happy being complimented by him, and hearing this makes Jade smile. She points out that Marin loves him. Garnet adds that she loves Marin too, as she is her one and only sister. She closes her eyes and mentions that she just wants Marin to be happy. Jade can clearly see her sad face. He can tell that she doesn't want Marin to become an adventurer. He knows that the moment Marin becomes an adventurer, danger will be around the corner. With that, Garnet decides to leave Marin in his care for the day, and he attentively acknowledges the task. As Garnet leaves, Jade gets worried. As a fellow adventurer, he cannot let Marin give up on her dreams. Keeping both what Marin wants and what Garnet wants in mind, he decides to respect both of their wishes. He wants to ensure that Marin can peacefully spend her time as an adventurer, so he decides to support her. A few hours later, Jade knocks at Garnet's door. Marin comes outside, greeting them with a warm smile. Domi proudly reveals they will be going to the guild, and will then take her to show her the capital. The idea of a tour around the capital makes Marin excited. Later, they reach the guild. Jade leaves the two girls outside, where Domi tells stories of her adventures with Jade to the kids and Marin. After some time, Jade heads out. He sees Marin praising Domi for fighting monsters even without having a crest. Marin decides she wants to be like her in the future. Jade interrupts their talk and suggests they go ahead. When asked where they are heading, Jade reveals they are going to a boutique. Later, they arrive at the shop. Marin is amazed by the beautiful dresses inside and beams as she observes how big the place is. Jade is glad to see she likes the location. While showing her money, Marin asks if 10,000 gold is enough for her to dress like him. However, Jade thinks she doesn't have to worry about the money. He tells her they won't have his clothes in her size, therefore he suggests she dress like Domi. Marin likes the idea and Domi gets excited as well, suggesting they look for clothes she would wear. With that, Marin tries on a white one-piece dress, then a white skirt, and then a white robe. Marin yells that they all look good and struggles to choose one. Meanwhile, Jade notes how much she likes white, as even the outfit she is currently wearing is white. Right then, Domi suggests they look into something different, like shoes, handbags, or jewelry. Marin decides to look for handbags, and Domi finds the idea good since she can put some rocks inside one. As both girls are busy choosing a bag, Jade watches them from behind with a smile. After a few minutes, both of them hold the same looking bag and are super happy about it. Jade remarks they have picked some cute stuff. Domi agrees and decides to put some rocks in hers. Something hits her mind, and she offers Marin a rock. Marin asks if she can really keep it, and Domi mentions it is a token of their friendship. Marin feels good and thanks her sincerely. In return, she decides to give Domi a hairpin. Domi thanks her, and Marin places it in her hair. Domi looks pretty cute with the hairpin. Marin says she looks good, while Jade thinks she looks cute. Domi acts shy as they both praise her look. The next stop is the armory, as Jade decides to buy Marin some equipment. There, Marin tries on armor, which she finds pretty cramped, and she struggles moving around. Jade comments that finding the right equipment is quite tough. Domi moves around and spots a shield, commenting that it will be easy for Marin to carry. Observing it closely, Jade sees it can also hold a small dagger inside. Marin thinks it will be a good fit and decides to buy it. Jade plans to ask the clerk about the price. As Marin holds the shield, she finds it super light. Jade explains it is made of mithril, the strongest and lightest metal in the world. Marin gets a bit nervous because the shield looks very expensive, which is its true market value. However, Jade tells her to rest assured as he takes responsibility for the bill. He adds that almost everyone knows him, so he will get it for cheap. Marin considers him dependable as she gives her money to him. She also hopes she will have enough money left for lunch, but Jade insists her current funds should be enough. Marin leaves everything to Jade, and he tells the girls to decide what they want for lunch. He goes straight to the clerk, who welcomes him to the shop. Jade asks the price of the shield. The clerk checks his documents but then apologizes, revealing that the price of mithril has increased recently. Hearing that, Jade offers him 5 million gold. The clerk accepts it while being stunned. Later, Marin is shocked to see Jade got the shield for just 500 gold, leaving her with 2,000 gold and change. Jade adds it is a miracle they got the shield at such a low price, while Marin calls it luck that they came to this shop. Domi then wishes to see Marin with the shield. Marin holds it confidently, and Domi comments that the shield suits her perfectly. Marin smiles warmly, deciding to become a great adventurer with this equipment. With that, both girls walk ahead. Domi wants to eat lots of meat, and Marin also wants to eat a lot to get stronger. They walk while holding each other's hands. Seeing them, Jade wishes to hold Garnet's hand one day in the same way. Later in the evening, Garnet arrives at Jade's house to pick up her sister. She asks if Marin had fun. Marin beams as she explains Jade took them to many places, and she and Domi even bought matching bags. Garnet remarks that they look cute. Then she asks about the shield. Marin explains she got it from the armory and adds it is mithril. Garnet states it is very expensive, but Marin mentions she got it for just 5,000 gold. Domi states the prices were surprisingly low. Garnet grows a bit confused. Then she looks at Jade, who is smiling. She smiles back as she calls them lucky. Meanwhile, Jade can tell that Garnet knows the real price of mithril. Garnet thanks Jade for taking care of Marin and decides to treat them to dinner. When he asks if they are going to eat together, Garnet asks if they have already eaten. Jade shakes his head as she decides to pay for the meal. He reveals the three of them were making plans for tomorrow, as Marin will be helping at his house. Marin happily says she is going to clean up and then play afterward. Therefore, Jade tells Garnet that there is no need to pay him back. He then nervously mutters that if she has any problem with leaving Marin with him, then that is fine. Garnet smiles warmly and says she isn't worried one bit, as she trusts him completely. She decides to leave Marin with him tomorrow as well. Jade confidently reveals he will protect her sister no matter what. When Garnet asks if cleaning is even dangerous, he states he is just getting into a protective mindset. Both Domi and Jade tell Garnet to leave Marin in their care, while Marin is excited to do her best at cleaning tomorrow. The next day, Marin arrives at Jade's place with her cleaning equipment and her newly bought shield. Domi welcomes her back, while Jade cannot understand why she brought her shield. Jade asks if Garnet is off to work. Marin nods and adds her sister went to work after waking her up, though she fell asleep again afterward. Jade imagines that if Garnet were here, she would definitely tell Marin she won't need a shield to clean. Then he tells Marin she could have taken her time coming over. He requests that she clean the whole house, from the living room to the bedroom. She acknowledges the task, and Domi adds they will make everything clean. With that, both girls excitedly start cleaning. By 1 p.m., both girls are done and believe everything looks spotless. Jade praises their work. As a reward, he decides to buy them any treats they want. Both girls get excited and Doromi shows interest in eating lollipops. Before that, Doromi raises her arms and informs Jade they found a letter while cleaning. She explains it was pressed between some books. Jade states he totally forgot about it and thanks them for finding it. Doromi asks who sent the letter and Jade calmly reveals it is from the king. Marin pauses as she thinks about the king. Then she panically yells, asking if he knows the king personally. Doromi says she also knows him, which makes Marin even more panicky. She stutters as she believes this is amazing. Doromi says it is not a big deal since the king looks pretty normal, but Marin calls her rude. Then Doromi asks what the letter says. Jade reveals it is an invitation to a ball. Marin freaks out, asking if the king really invited him. Jade explains that the king holds an event for his birthday and invites all adventurers ranked 8 or above. Doromi gets excited about the food at the event, and she and Marin ask if the parties are good. Unexpectedly, Jade reveals he doesn't know because he has never attended. Both of them are shocked and ask for the reason. He explains he prioritizes his quests over anything. Deep down, he knows his duty as an adventurer, but spending time with Garnet at the guild is simply much more valuable to him. He states that since it is a ball, he needs to take a partner with him. He thinks it would be so nice to go there with Garnet someday. Meanwhile, Marin stares at him for a moment, and then suggests he go there with her sister. Jade freaks out, wondering if she can read his mind. Marin remarks that the two of them get along pretty well. Jade tries to confirm this, and Marin nods, stating the two of them are friends indeed. Internally, he agrees. Until now, he had almost given up on the idea of becoming close with Garnet, since they only interacted for business. But now that both of them are friends, he thinks she will accept his request. He decides to brace himself, as this time his quest is to invite her to the ball. With determination, Jade decides to invite Garnet to the ball. Meanwhile, Doromi decides to go with him if Garnet turns him down, making Jade think she will jinx it. However, he acknowledges that the possibility of Garnet turning him down exists. Therefore, he decides to practice inviting her. After that, Marin points out how dirty she looks after cleaning. Jade suggests that both girls take a bath before heading out to play, and they head to the bathroom. Jade notes he doesn't have much time left since he must ask Garnet out soon. Knowing she won't be home now, he decides to practice in front of her house until Doromi and Marin are done with their bath. Standing in front of Garnet's house, he blushes hard and feels pressured, even while just practicing. He takes time to calm himself down, believing that if he uses a smart approach, she will accept. With that in mind, he pretends she is there. He starts a speech praising the good weather and then asks if she wants to go out to a dance, but he quickly thinks it is useless to bring up the weather. He then asks if she would like to go to a dance, but he feels it lacks impact. Next, he starts a speech mentioning the king's birthday and requests to celebrate with a dance at the castle. He then thinks there is no point, as the dance is specifically for the king's birthday. He holds his head in frustration, thinking he can't do this, yet he really wants to dance with her. Something hits his mind. He reminds himself that he simply wants to dance with her and needs to express his true feelings. After wondering if he should tell her straight, he clears his throat and confidently requests her to come with him to the ball. To his surprise, Garnet arrives right at that moment, asking what he is doing there. He freaks out and screams internally, panicking at the sight of the real Garnet. He nervously asks why she is here during her working hours. Garnet states she is on her break and came back to check on Marin. Jade continues to panic but answers that both girls got dirty after cleaning and are now taking a bath. Meanwhile, he wonders what to do, thinking she probably heard him. He is sure she must have seen him talking to himself and worries she takes him for a weirdo. Therefore, he decides to ask her something. With a low voice, he asks how she would describe him. She confusingly repeats his question but then answers that he looks like a very kind person. When he asks if that is all, she adds that he is a very serious person who is good with kids and a hard worker. Jade is happy she is praising him instead of calling him strange. Unexpectedly, Garnet asks if he was trying to invite her to the ball. Jade freezes and asks if she heard everything. She states she heard him loud and clear. Now he wonders what to do. He was only practicing, and now it has become a real situation. He panically assumes it is a no from her after hearing his practice. However, she states she will go if he is okay with it. Still, Jade, thinking she could never say yes, states he already knew she would refuse because she is busy with work. Reality hits him and he stops mid-sentence. After a brief silence, he yells, asking her to repeat what she just said. Garnet says she will go with him to the ball. He asks if she is really sure and asks if she is okay dancing with him. Garnet nods calmly. Now Jade is in total bliss and yells that he is very happy. Garnet points out he is getting too excited and he mentions he is feeling super happy, changing his sentence to say he loves to dance with her. Garnet laughs softly. As Jade starts leaving, she says she will do her best not to step on his feet. Jade says he will practice a lot and says goodbye. Garnet stands there looking at his back with a warm smile and a little blush. Back at his place, Jade practices his dancing. He can't believe he is actually going to dance with Garnet. He feels so happy that he cries. Meanwhile, the girls get out of the bath and ask about his dancing. He explains Garnet visited during her break and that they are going to the ball together. Both Marin and Domi are happy to hear the news. Jade clenches his fist, determined to practice hard to dance well with Garnet. First, he decides what to wear. He puts on a shining suit and asks the girls for their opinions. One says it's too bright, while the other says it's too sparkly. Next, he tries a full black outfit. One says it is too black, and the other agrees. He thinks Garnet will not be able to see him when they go home, so he tries another outfit. The next outfit is quite decent, and both girls are amazed. Domi remarks it looks great. When Jade asks if it is too plain, Marin says it fits him well and will be easy to dance in. He thanks them both sincerely. With just 5 days remaining for the party, Jade goes to the library to learn more about dancing. While the girls play, he practices. He even practices with the girls to ensure he can capture Garnet's heart. Finally, the day of the party arrives. Marin apologizes to Jade because he has to accompany her on her first quest. He shrugs it off, stating the party is at night and that Garnet asked him to keep an eye on her. Marin thanks him sincerely, while Jade reflects that they have to say goodbye to her after today. He recalls her goal. She wanted her first quest to be issued at the Capital Guild. She left her hometown for this, and once she completes the quest, she will go home. It is a bit sad for Jade, as he wanted to see her development. Domi decides to throw a party at home to celebrate Marin becoming an adventurer, while Jade and Garnet go to the ball. Marin announces she will do her best, and Jade wishes her luck. He suggests they head to the guild registration office. Later at the guild, Marin feels nervous seeing so many adventurers, but she follows through. She reaches the reception to pay for registration and fills out the form. The next step is to determine her flower crest type. While putting her hand over the orb, she wishes for an enhancer crest. She is surprised when she sees her flower crest. She runs toward Domi and Jade. When asked what kind of crest she got, Marin happily reveals she got the enhancer crest, making her the same type of adventurer as Jade. Jade congratulates her with a warm smile. With that, Marin's tale as an adventurer begins. Later, the group arrives in the woods for her first quest, Slime Subjugation. It is Marin's first time seeing a slime, while Domi thinks it looks tasty like jelly. The slime starts getting away, and Marin chases it while Jade wishes her luck. After a couple of seconds, she yells at the slime to face her head-on, saying that running away is for chickens. The slime stops as it gets furious and attacks. Luckily, she protects herself with her shield. From behind, Domi cheers her on while Marin tries striking the slime with her dagger. Unfortunately, the slime hits the shield hard, and she falls, believing the slime is very strong. She notes she has already enhanced her strength, but the dagger bounces off. Realizing slashes are not working, she tries thrusting and lands an attack. Domi is amazed while Jade observes closely. Finally, she defeats the slime and gets a mana stone. Marin is amazed as she runs toward her friends, announcing her success. Later, at Jade's place, he changes into his outfit for the ball and asks if he looks weird. The girls comment that he looks cool and the outfit suits him well. He thanks them, feeling good. One girl asks if he is nervous, and Jade nods, stating it is his first ball at the castle. Furthermore, he thinks about his partner being Garnet. His heart beats faster because in just a few hours he will be dancing with her, which feels like a dream. Marin asks if her sister is coming soon, but Jade explains she is working and will take a bit more time. He reflects that the guild closes at sunset, so she will arrive after that. Sitting on the sofa, he wonders what she is going to wear. Suddenly, someone knocks on the door. Marin wonders if it is her sister, though Jade believes it is a bit early. He opens the door and finds Garnet standing there. She is wearing a beautiful gown with accessories. Her hair is styled with flowers and she has calming eyes. With a subtle smile, she asks if she made him wait too long. Jade looks at her affectionately while she blushes. It feels like a dream for Jade to dance with someone as beautiful as her tonight. At the entrance of Jade's place, the two look at each other. To him, the moment feels like a beautiful dream. When the girls arrive, Marin exclaims that her sister looks super cute, while Domi says she looks incredible. Meanwhile, Jade thinks that truer words have never been spoken. He finds her drop-dead gorgeous. She looks almost like an adorable bride about to get married. His body trembles at the sight of her, and he murmurs that he is truly moved. Nervously, Garnet calls him Jade-kun for the first time, as she asks if she looks okay. The use of his name catches Jade off guard and leaves him stunned. He tells her she looks absolutely stunning. She pauses for a moment, then smiles warmly with relief. Jade notes that while she already looked great, her smile puts her on another level of beauty. Garnet then tells him he looks charming as well, and he thanks her sincerely. He suggests they head off. Since it is a bit early, he comments that they will need to spend their time somewhere else first. Garnet expresses interest in seeing the fountain at the plaza, as she is fond of it. Jade acknowledges her wish and decides to escort her. With that, the two leave while the girls see them off. Later, the girls throw a party at Jade's house. They cheer as Domi congratulates Marin for completing her first quest. However, Marin gives the credit to her and Jade. She is glad her quest was completed before sunset. Otherwise, Jade and her sister would have missed the ball. Domi agrees and is glad everything went well. She smiles warmly, mentioning that they will be going their separate ways from now on. Yet she still congratulates Marin from the heart. Marin gets a bit teary-eyed. Domi suggests they drink milk, and Marin agrees, deciding to have nothing but fun today. After sipping the milk, both of them feel wonderful. Marin comments that milk hits differently after an adventure. Domi agrees as she loves milk and thinks it gains a particular taste after a quest. Next, Marin remarks that the lollipops she bought have a good taste as well. Domi points out that Marin bought them with her own earned money. Looking at her milk, Marin thinks the moment is special. She expresses a wish to buy something for her sister with her own money. Domi believes Garnet would be super happy but asks if Marin has enough money left. With a sad face, Marin reveals she spent most of it on candy. She believes she doesn't have enough and decides to give up. Looking at her sad face closely, Domi suggests they take another quest right now. Meanwhile, Jade and Garnet walk together. He blushes, feeling the unreality of standing next to her. He asks if the guild closed early today, and she replies that it is still open. However, she ended her day early because she didn't want him to wait long. Jade apologizes for troubling her, but to his surprise, she states she was also looking forward to the evening. He curiously asks if she likes to dance. Garnet blushes and shakes her head, adding that she saw him having fun during his practice, so she looked forward to it as well. She admits she is bad at dancing and requests that he not expect too much. Jade blushes, happy to know she shares his excitement. To put her at ease, he states he isn't good at dancing either, but he promises to give her a good time. He is determined to do his best so she will have fun. She thanks him with a warm smile. Meanwhile, Jade thinks that if he gives Garnet a good time tonight, he might be able to invite her again next year. They finally arrive at the fountain. Jade spots a bench and suggests they sit to enjoy the view. Garnet remarks that they can see the reflection of the setting sun on the water, which is lovely to watch. After a small smile, he suggests they sit down. Sitting on the bench, he still finds Garnet more beautiful than the fountain. He tells himself he could watch her forever, though he fears she would find him a weirdo if he did. Garnet begins speaking and thanks him for assisting Marin today. Jade says he didn't do much, explaining he only watched over her. Garnet insists that because of him, she doesn't need to worry. Hearing this, Jade thinks she must have been worried about Marin taking a quest on her own. He asks if she is against Marin becoming an adventurer. After a brief pause, she mentions she is just worried her sister will end up like their father. Jade asks if their father was an adventurer. She nods, stating he only lived for adventures and rarely came home. They still don't know where he is. The last time they saw him was 12 years ago, before Marin was born. Jade notes that is a long time and understands her worry. He thinks of two possibilities. Either her father got too engrossed in his travels to come home, or he lost his life. Garnet mentions it would be great if her father came back, as she wants to meet him again. She states this is the reason she started working at the guild. Jade agrees, pointing out that as a staff member, she can collect more information. Unexpectedly, Garnet reveals she hasn't found any. Then, Jade asks for her father's name. She says his name is Onyx. Something clicks in Jade's mind. He asks if the man has a scar on his right cheek. Garnet nods, explaining he got the injury protecting their mother from a monster. She asks if Jade knows him. Unexpectedly, Jade reveals he met her father when he was still a kid. He explains that 12 years ago, her father arrived in his hometown. He had a scar on his cheek and a rank 7 flower crest. He was the first adventurer Jade ever met. Jade explains that her father told him many stories. After hearing them, Jade decided to become an adventurer himself. 12 years ago, young Jade beamed, finding adventurers cool and showing interest in the profession. Seeing this, Onyx asked his age. When Jade revealed he was 10, Onyx stated he only needed to wait 2 more years. Jade got fired up and decided to become an adventurer at 12 so he could travel and fight monsters. Onyx laughed at his goal. Jade told the man his name, and in exchange, Onyx told him his. Hearing about the past, Garnet smiles softly. Jade mentions he owes her father a lot, believing he never would have become an adventurer or met Garnet if it weren't for Onyx. He wishes to meet her father again to thank him properly. Therefore, he decides to go find him. He guesses Onyx must be in a different country, as the world is massive and they are at the edge of the continent. He adds that it is common not to hear news from someone traveling across the world. He decides to gather information on his own adventures and go to different countries if necessary. Garnet feels she is being a burden, but Jade explains he wants to meet her father too. He adds that it is his way of returning the favor for her going to the ball with him. She chuckles as she thanks him and decides to dance her best. Like her, Jade decides to do his best tonight. As the clock strikes 7, they decide to head to the castle. Jade gets up, but Garnet notices something is wrong. She states there was something sticky on the bench and asks if her dress is dirty. Jade spots a little stain and apologizes for not noticing the bench was soiled. He regrets not being the one who sat there, but Garnet insists it isn't his fault. However, she believes it would be rude to present herself to the king like this. Jade believes the king will be okay with it since he is lenient. Next, he suggests she change, adding that he has many dresses at home. When Garnet asks about them, Jade freezes, thinking he blurted out too much. He tries to handle the situation by saying he bought them for Domi for when she gets older. Garnet says she would feel bad wearing them, but Jade instantly bows and explains there are many dresses available. Garnet finally gives in. Jade feels grateful she didn't ask more questions. Arriving at his place, they do not find the girls. Garnet wonders if they are in another room. Jade rushes to look around, feeling a bad vibe. After some minutes, Garnet states she didn't find them anywhere. Jade stands by the dining table, wondering where they could be. Garnet wonders if they went to the guild, and Jade thinks the same. He reflects that quests at night are dangerous and decides to stop the two. While heading out, he notes they still have time before the party. He insists they go to the guild, and Garnet acknowledges the plan. Now both are running around, searching for Domi and Marin on the streets of the town. Apparently, Jade and Garnet realized that neither of the girls were at home, and also noticed Marin's shield was missing. Because of this, they assumed both had gone out for a quest. Since night quests are rather dangerous, they decide to check with the guild staff first to learn more about the girls' whereabouts. Entering the guild, the protagonist calls for a nearby staff member. The moment she inquires about the reason he called her, he states he is looking for 2 girls, one with white hair and the other with blue hair. The staff member immediately remembers and explains that both were there a moment ago, talking about killing a slime. When they hear this, visible shock and fear appear on their faces. Garnet wonders what could have made them take a quest since there was a party at home, but Jade suggests that finding a reason is not their priority right now. He calls Garnet's name and suggests she should stay home while he goes alone to bring the girls back. Hearing this, Garnet asks about the party. Even though he also wants to attend the party with her, right now finding the girls is his priority. Looking at Garnet, Jade confesses that although he really wishes to dance with her, at the moment finding both girls is more important. Garnet, swayed by his words, blushes. Making eye contact, she states that the safety of both girls is now in his hands. He reassures her that he will definitely find them and solve the matter without any problems. Meanwhile, in the mountains, Marin calls for Domi. She is getting scared and asks if they can really kill a slime in the dark. Although Domi seems a bit scared too, she assures Marin not to worry. Today is Marin's last day with her, so with this adventure, Domi wants to leave a good memory. Marin also wished to buy something for her elder sister earlier, and Domi wants to help her with that as well. Domi doesn't want to leave any regrets behind, and hopes Marin leaves with a big smile. At the moment, her top priority is staying alert and winning the quest. She tries to calm herself by saying that she has faced dangerous monsters before, so a slime should not be a big problem. Suddenly, something attacks Domi from behind, so she turns around in a hurry, which scares Marin as well. Domi suggests Marin should cover herself, but they start receiving attacks from all directions. They hear many voices coming from around them. Domi thinks that whatever is attacking them must be in large numbers, a thought Marin agrees with. With no other options left, Domi grabs Marin's hand and begins to run at full speed, insisting they must get out of there now. Marin is visibly terrified. As they run, Marin questions where they are going. Domi answers that they must reach the place where they entered while the voices continue to follow them. After running under the starry night sky and through the mountains for a while, they finally stop to check if they are still being chased. When they hear no more noise, both sigh in relief. Doromi suggests taking a break, and Marin agrees since they are tired after all the running. Sitting down, Doromi becomes worried about finding the path back because they have been running without paying attention to their surroundings. She thinks they have lost the way to the capital and will need to find it after the break. Doromi also worries about Marin because the idea to come here was hers. Lost in thought, Marin thanks Doromi for coming and suggests they go back to the capital after the break. Hearing this, Doromi questions in disbelief if Marin is sure. With a smile, Marin answers that her wish to have an adventure with Doromi has been fulfilled, so she wants nothing else now. Doromi is first shocked, but then says that doing a quest together was meaningful and she will always remember it. Doromi then hands something to Marin to eat. Marin looks at it and asks about it. Doromi, with excitement, answers that it is jerky, so Marin thanks her. Eating it, Marin claims her tiredness is fading due to the jerky's saltiness. Doromi agrees and adds that jerky is one of the essentials for adventurers. Marin appreciates Doromi for being so helpful whenever she is in need and expresses how much she likes it. Doromi laughs and denies that she is really that good. In the midst of their conversation, their eyes widen in fear. A winged bear appears in front of them and roars. The bear looks quite angry and both scream. Marin asks about the creature, so Doromi explains that it is a winged bear and that only someone with a rank of 3 or above can kill it. She also explains that though the bear is blind and deaf, its sense of smell is very strong, which means they should throw away the jerky. They toss it toward the bear, which is distracted by it, and then they start running away with all their might. Since the mountain is dark, Doromi cannot see directions clearly and is becoming scared of the bear as well. At this moment, Marin calls out and points toward a cave where they can hide for a while. Frightened, both enter the cave reluctantly. Looking around, they find nothing and decide to hide inside. As they walk deeper, both try to make no noise and seem exhausted. The cave has a strange smell that makes them feel nauseous. As they go further, Marin finds bones from different animals on the ground and screams in fear. Doromi shines a light on the bones so they can see more clearly and finds plenty of them. The sight makes both realize that the cave is a bear's den. Without wasting any more time, they decide to leave because the monster bear could return at any moment. Both agree and start running out of the cave. But at the entrance, the winged bear is standing. Seeing this, Marin loses hope and falls to her knees. Doromi looks at Marin, then at the bear, and begins to cry, blaming herself because coming here was her idea. She feels responsible for Marin being in danger and fears they are going to be eaten by a bear. Sitting on the ground, Marin denies this, claiming she was the one who invited Doromi on this quest. Doromi tries to reassure Marin again, saying she did nothing wrong. She thinks she can try to fight the bear and might survive, but to do that, she has to transform into her original form. Doromi worries that Marin will be scared of her true form, or may not want to stay friends afterward. Although she is scared of being hated, saving Marin's life is more important to her. With tears in her eyes, Doromi assures Marin, who is also crying, not to worry about anything now. Marin looks at her with complete confusion. Doromi says she is going to make things right and will protect Marin as well. Marin cannot understand what she means while Doromi begins taking off her clothes. When Marin asks the reason, Doromi explains that she is going to protect her and suggests Marin should keep her head down because things are about to get dangerous. As Doromi throws away her clothes, Marin suggests fighting together, but Doromi insists she can handle the bear alone. Doromi runs toward the bear at full speed while Marin sits on the ground, calling her name and worrying. As Doromi's body begins to change, she assures Marin not to worry because she is actually a strong dragon. Her body transforms into her real form, a dragon, leaving Marin in shock. Doromi then attacks the bear and throws it against a tree, killing it. After that, Doromi's only task is to take Marin back to the capital. However, Doromi worries that since Marin knows her true identity, she will not want to come near her or might be afraid of her, possibly ending their friendship. Doromi regrets coming here because otherwise they could have enjoyed the party and then gone to bed peacefully. She is deeply sad and disappointed, not wanting things to end with Marin like this. At this moment, while Marin calls her name, Jade appears on the scene. Jade dashes towards the place where the noise was coming from and finds Doromi there in her real form. When he sees this, he can't believe his eyes that she has actually transformed into her real form. At this moment, Marin comes out of the cave and calls out to him. As he walks toward her, Jade asks if she is all right. When she hears this, Marin sits on the ground, claims that she is fine, but then begins to cry while apologizing for coming here at night, With a smile on his face, Jade assures her that he is not angry. Instead, he is happy that she is safe. Wiping away her tears, Marin says there are a lot of monsters here, so they should head back now. She also adds that she is scared of monsters. Domi and Jade are both worried, since Marin now knows the reality of Domi. Later, Marin adds that when the monster attacked them, she lost all hope. Then, with a smile, she says that Domi saved her from that monster. Marin then walks forward and puts the jacket on the dragon, who is Domi, so she doesn't catch a cold. Domi tries to change her form, but it seems like she is having some problems. Marin starts to worry about her. After trying for a while, Domi finally returns to her human form. She asks Marin whether she is not scared of her. Marin answers that there is no reason to be afraid. When Domi hears this, she explains she is not a human, but a monster, a quite strong one. To reassure her, Marin states that although she was shocked at first, she was never scared. For Marin, Domi is her friend, and being a monster won't change that fact. When Domi hears this, she can't believe that even after knowing the reality, Marin wants to stay friends with her. Marin takes out the hairpin she gave Domi earlier and hands it to her, stating it as proof of their friendship. Domi accepts it with tears in her eyes and puts it on her hair. Both then pass a smile toward each other while Jade looks at them in complete happiness. Moving on, he walks toward them and hands the clothes to Domi so she can wear them, and then they will go back. Domi takes the clothes and acknowledges it. But then both Marin and Domi ask the reason behind Jade being here and not dancing with Garnet, which he was supposed to do. He explains that due to their disappearance, he had to leave the dance and look for them, and there is no hint of annoyance or anger in his voice. Marin and Domi both feel ashamed. Domi apologizes for ruining his plan of dancing with Garnet, which he really wanted to do. She claims everything is her fault. Marin also apologizes because she is the reason they came on this quest and ruined their night. With a calm voice, Jade assures them not to worry about it because, no matter what, their safety comes first. Domi still insists that it is her fault, and she is the reason why Marin was on the verge of death, so she apologizes again. In return, Marin apologizes for being weak. Bending toward them, Jade explains that Marin is not weak. He says it was quite smart of them to run away. Assessing the type of danger is an essential ability, and he is sure that Marin will grow up into a strong adventurer. After that, he encourages Domi too, who went all out and protected her friend despite everything. As both of them call out Jade's name to say something, he suggests going back because Garnet is waiting for them. After hearing such things from Jade, Domi and Marin are happy and agree to go back. The scene shifts to Garnet, who is sitting at the dining table waiting for them. Suddenly, the door creaks open and both girls enter the room. Marin and Garnet call out each other's names. Garnet stands up, runs toward them, and hugs both of them out of worry. While hugging them, she welcomes them back. Jade stands near the door while Garnet checks if they are hurt. Marin assures her and apologizes for not asking permission beforehand. Domi then yells at Marin, claiming it was her idea to take a quest, but Marin insists she is the one at fault. With a smile, Garnet puts her hands on their heads and claims she is not angry. She hopes they have learned their lesson and says the fact that they came back safely is enough. Moving on, she thanks Jade for helping. Jade claims there is no reason for her to say that. Garnet still insists on doing something for him in return. Hearing this, Jade gathers up all his courage and asks her to go to next year's ball with him, since they missed this one. As Garnet looks at him with a smile, she questions if he really likes dancing. With enthusiasm and excitement, Jade answers yes. Seeing his excitement, Garnet suggests having a dance at the moment, since he loves it so much. Although shocked, Jade inquires if she is really okay with it. Garnet answers that there is no reason to have any problem with it. When Jade hears this, he can't believe that he is really going to dance with her because he couldn't go to the ball with her, but then, without any other thoughts, he is just happy to dance. Later, he suggests going to another room so they can dance alone without Marin and Domi being there. In the other room, Jade and Garnet enter while he plays the music too. Standing in front of each other, Jade can't believe his wish is really going to be fulfilled soon. In order to dance, he asks permission from Garnet to hold her hand. As soon as she agrees, they hold hands and both begin to blush. Holding her soft hand, Jade has a sense of warmth. Meanwhile, he is also thinking not to grip the hand tightly as it might hurt her. He asks again whether she is really okay with it because he might pull her arm with too much force and hurt her. Moving closer, Garnet says that in that case, she will do it herself so it doesn't happen. Now both are standing really close to each other. Being so close, both are blushing. Jade finds Garnet's smell pleasant. Then he feels something soft on his chest and realizes her body is completely sticking to his. His heartbeat increases, so Garnet asks the reason behind it. Jade explains he is quite excited to dance. Outside the room, Marin and Domi are playing the music for them. While dancing and being so close to Garnet, Jade thinks his dream has finally been fulfilled. As they are dancing, both girls are enjoying their dance. After a while, Garnet apologizes to Jade. He can't understand the reason behind it. Garnet explains it is because she is stepping on his feet again and again, thus feeling shameful. Jade assures her that he is too focused on the dance to feel anything else. Hearing this, Garnet feels a bit relieved and also finds dancing quite fun. After that, they dance for a while and share some moments of joy together. Moving on, Jade hears a sound from someone's stomach and realizes that person must be hungry. He suggests stopping the dance now, though he is reluctant to stop, but it's enough for him to feel happy for a lifetime. As Jade looks at Garnet, her face is quite red, so he wonders if she is the one who is hungry. Looking at her, he questions if they want something to eat. At this instance, Marin and Domi also run toward them so they can eat something new, while Marin claims her stomach has been making noises due to hunger. As he finds out where the noise came from, Jade wonders why Garnet is blushing. Out of worry, he questions if she is all right. Garnet answers that she has been taking care of herself, so she could dance with him. Jade can't believe that she actually did all this to not miss the ball. After that, he thanks her for dancing with him. In response, Garnet states she enjoyed the dance but mentions that it was her first experience dancing with a male, so she was quite nervous not to ruin it. Jade can't believe she would say these words, but he assures her that the dance was amazing, and if they attended the ball, everyone else would have been stuck on her. Since Garnet can't believe it, Jade swears that he isn't lying. Actually, he is happy with the fact that he was able to dance with her. Garnet questions if he is really telling the truth. Upon realizing it, Jade gets stuck for a bit. He thought he was thinking about it himself, but actually he said it out loud. Therefore, he begins to wonder if she will misjudge it as a confession. Amid his thoughts, Domi yells that it seems like he really likes Garnet. Hearing this, everyone else in the room looks at her in complete shock. The moment Domi reveals Jade's feelings for Garnet, he is in disbelief that she actually said it in front of Garnet. Hearing this, Marin becomes excited. Domi continues, telling Marin that he is so in love with Garnet that he not only gave her a rare flower as a gift, but also went fishing so she could eat it. Excited by this, Marin suggests they do something to help make them a real couple. Domi then turns to Jade and asks if he wants this to happen so they can help him. Jade looks at them with nervousness and anxiety, while Marin and Domi appear quite enthusiastic. Although Jade never wanted things to unfold this way, he glances at Garnet, who now knows how he feels about her. When he tries to speak, his words get stuck. Garnet, after thinking for a moment, asks him directly whether it is true. When he looks at her, he sees she is ready to hear his answer, but anxiety prevents him from responding clearly. He manages to say he just likes her, in a sense, which leaves things unclear. Garnet then asks if he wants to be in a relationship with her. Jade feels trapped between yes and no, unable to deny someone he has loved for years. Since he doesn't give a clear answer, Garnet questions if she is wrong here. Stressed, he responds yes, she is wrong, though he is actually referring to her question about being wrong. Eventually, Jade manages to explain his feelings, but his confession is confusing. Garnet remains uncertain. From the day Jade first saw her 10 years ago until now, he has always wanted to tell her how he feels, but fear holds him back. After gathering his courage, he finally confesses that he wants to be with her. Hearing this, Garnet smiles and agrees to start a relationship with him. Jade can't believe it, so she adds that she wants this as well. Still confused, he asks her why. She replies that over the years she has seen him as a hard-working and kind man who always puts others first. Being with him has always made her happy, and this is why she wants to be with him. Overwhelmed, Jade shouts, "Finally!" Garnet thinks he doesn't need to yell, but Jade insists he is just so happy and in love that he can't hide his feelings anymore. He swears on his life to always keep her happy. Marin and Domi, who are there, congratulate them. They thank the girls in return. Looking at Garnet, Jade can't believe he used to find excuses just to talk to her, and now he is going to start a relationship with her. He asks her to stay happy together, and Garnet agrees. The next day is Marin's departure. Garnet asks Marin if she liked her stay, and Marin answers that she really enjoyed the time, especially because of Domi and Jade. As they say goodbye, Jade and Domi say they also enjoyed Marin's company and invite her to come again. With enthusiasm, Marin claims she will work hard to become a rank 10 adventurer, and then wishes to complete quests with them. Jade and Domi wish her the best of luck and say they will wait for that day. Marin thanks them for believing in her. She turns to her sister and asks if Garnet believes in her as well. Garnet replies that if Marin truly wants this, she will support her no matter what. She also asks Marin to promise she will always come home to visit. Marin promises. At that moment, the train driver announces they are about to depart. As Marin prepares to leave, Domi shouts her name and runs to her, handing her a rock, claiming it is the prettiest one she has ever found. Marin looks at the rock, says it is beautiful, and notes that it is the first time she has seen a rock that shines blue. Marin asks if Domi really wants her to have it. Domi agrees and, though shy, asks Marin to bring back an even prettier rock if she finds one during her adventures. The two shake hands, and Marin promises to return with a rock for Domi. Marin boards the train and takes her seat. As the train departs, she waves goodbye out the window. Domi continues waving until the train is out of sight, then collapses to her knees. When Jade calls her name, Domi starts crying and says she feels sad. Jade praises her for not crying in front of Marin. Domi replies that she did not want to make Marin sad but has been holding back her tears. Garnet comes over to console her, saying she shouldn't cry because they will meet again. Garnet also invites them to her house soon. Domi is excited and Jade asks if he can come as well. Garnet answers that he must come, especially which makes both of them happy, since they will get to visit Marin and Garnet's house. Jade is now thinking about finding the best gift for Garnet's mother to make a good impression on his in-laws. Domi wants to go on an adventure to find pretty rocks for Marin, and Jade agrees with her. As they talk about traveling, Garnet asks if they are planning to go somewhere. Jade answers that he must find the most suitable gift for her mother, while Domi says she wants to find pretty rocks. Hearing this, Garnet seems disappointed, which Jade finds odd. He asks if he has done something wrong, but Garnet says that although she is happy he is doing so much for her, she feels sad that she won't be able to see him for a while. Holding him by his shirt, Garnet adds that without him she will be lonely and will keep coming back to the guild. If she doesn't, she jokes that she might die without him. Jade thinks that visiting the guild could become a burden for her, but they can still meet outside the guild. Even though he is now in a relationship with her and can see her without any excuse, he still plans to go to the guild because he enjoys seeing her in uniform. He explains that the first time he saw her in uniform, he felt like he was seeing an angel. Garnet then says she will keep her promise to feed them by cooking a meal at her house, full of love. Hearing this, Jade and Domi are excited and agree. At that moment, Domi's stomach growls because she hasn't had breakfast. Jade invites Garnet to join them for breakfast, and she agrees with a smile. 3 days later, Jade is sitting at the dining table with a smile on his face. Domi, who is also there, calls his name. He apologizes and says he is thinking about Garnet. Domi tells him he looks very happy. Jade thanks her, saying she is the main reason for his happiness. Domi encourages him, saying that it is because of his own efforts that Garnet loves him, and wishes for them to stay happy together forever. Though shy, he thanks her and promises to do his best. He adds that even though they haven't been dating for long, he still can't come up with ideas to make Garnet happy. Hearing this, Domi suggests he go out and spend a day with her. She is actually talking about a date, which makes him nervous. Still, with this idea, they could become even closer, but now he has to think about where to take her. Domi happily suggests they go out for a date to have some fun. Jade is completely surprised by the idea of a date. He thinks now that since Domi is saying they can go on a date to make Garnet happy, he might also get closer to her. Then he asks Domi to help him choose a place, as he can't take Garnet somewhere ordinary. Deep down, he worries that if their first date fails, it will be impossible to ask Garnet for a second one. Meanwhile, Domi suggests taking Garnet shopping. She adds with a bright smile that she and Marin became best friends after shopping together, so she believes buying matching items will help them get closer too. Jade gets very excited, internally agreeing with Domi that buying matching things will make them look like a real couple. Not only that, he can also see what Garnet likes and use this as a reference for their future dates. He sincerely thanks Domi and decides to invite Garnet right away. Domi wishes him luck. The next day, Jade goes shopping with Garnet. He still can't believe they are actually shopping together, something he never expected to happen. They are currently in a department store looking for tableware because Garnet wants to buy new plates. He reflects that she has taken time out after work to come here, and as her boyfriend, he wants to be helpful. So he asks what kind of plates she wants. She says she is looking for pattern-designed plates, explaining she wants the table to look lively when they eat together. Jade is stunned and asks if she really thinks about things like that for them, and she confirms with a nod. Seeing her nod, he finds her incredibly adorable. He thanks her sincerely and agrees that good tableware really makes eating a better experience. After that, both of them search for plates throughout the shop. Jade points to some with a heart design. Garnet takes a look and finds them cute. Meanwhile, he finds her cute as well. He decides to buy her those plates as a present, believing food will look great being served on them. Unexpectedly, he also blurts out that she looks great as well, but quickly clarifies that she always looks amazing, not just now. Garnet, blushing, points out that he was very loud, which makes her feel embarrassed. After a pause, Jade apologizes for getting carried away, but Garnet reveals she isn't angry. On their way back, she invites him for dinner at her place, as she wants to see how well the new plates fit in her house. Jade accepts her invitation and mentions he had a great time shopping with her. Garnet also enjoyed their time together and says it was an amazing first date. Jade is stunned and asks if this was really a date. Garnet explains that whenever a couple goes out together, it's a date. Jade reflects that he thought a date should be at a special place, but seeing Garnet happy, he believes their first date was a huge success. Afterward, Garnet asks why he is pinching his cheeks. Jade says he just wants to make sure he isn't dreaming. Later, at dinner, Domi puts her spoon down and thanks Garnet for the amazing food. Jade also adds that it was delicious and thanks Garnet for cooking for them. Garnet says she has no difficulty with it and suggests he come to her place anytime. Even though Jade would be happy to visit, he declines. When Garnet asks why, he says he wants to look for Onyx first. She learns he is going to go look for her father. Jade reflects that Onyx is the person he admires most, who disappeared on an adventure 12 years ago. He promises Garnet he will find her father no matter how long it takes. After a pause, Garnet makes a sad face because, although she believes in him, she thinks it will be too dangerous. Jade is stunned and asks if she is worried about him. She nods, as she doesn't know what dangers might be waiting for him on this journey. He thinks that people usually don't worry about him because he is strong, but Garnet is different. She worries about him not as a hero, but as the man she loves. He reassures her not to worry, as he is used to these kinds of adventures. Domi also agrees, saying they will return without a single injury. Garnet smiles in relief. Jade then plans to collect information from the neighboring country of Linvok first. Hearing this, Domi startles and spills juice on herself accidentally. Garnet looks at her as Domi apologizes for spilling the juice. Looking at Domi's ruined dress, Garnet states it is too late to buy new clothes now, but after thinking a bit, she remembers she has some clothes that may fit Domi. A few minutes later, Domi steps out wearing a beautiful gown, feeling like a princess. Jade asks if the dress belongs to Marin, but Garnet explains they were hers when she was Domi's age. Domi is shocked and asks if Garnet is a princess, but Garnet replies she is just a normal person and the clothes were bought at a local shop. Domi thinks the dress looks expensive and asks if Garnet is sure she can keep it. Garnet nods, explaining that they don't fit her anymore and she doesn't like them. Domi asks why she kept them, and Garnet remembers her mother said the capital is a huge place, so she didn't want her daughter to look like a country person. Her mother made her wear them, but the experience was unpleasant. Jade thinks the clothes really suit Domi. Domi twirls and asks if she looks cute in them. With a warm smile, Jade tells her she looks adorable. Domi thanks Garnet and promises to take good care of the dress. Later that night, Domi is sleeping while holding Garnet's dress. Meanwhile, Jade is busy making plans for tomorrow. Suddenly, Domi screams loudly and he turns to her, asking what's wrong. With a trembling body, Domi reveals she had a bad dream. In the dream, someone was beating her. When Jade asks who it was, she says she doesn't know and wonders if it was a sign. Jade thinks there can't be anyone who wants to beat her, but Domi mentions she is a white dragon. Jade notes that this is the only country that has prohibited hunting white dragons. He also recalls that she seemed scared about going to the other country and spilled her juice at dinner. He apologizes for not noticing, but Domi mutters that she is fine. After a brief pause, Jade asks if going to the neighboring country scares her. Domi nods and says it's because things won't end well if people realize who she really is. Remembering their first encounter, Jade thinks he thought Domi had become stronger during their adventures, but he overlooked her anxiety. He suggests leaving her behind to take care of the house, or leaving her with Garnet. Domi decides not to stay. Jade asks if she isn't scared of leaving. Even though she feels scared, Domi decides to help Garnet and Marin because those two are her closest friends. She wants them to be happy and smiling when they find their father. She smacks her cheeks and announces, with determination, that she wants to go to the neighboring country. but only if Jade wants her to come. He smiles and mentions 2 are better than 1. With that, he decides they will leave at dawn. The next day, Jade informs Garnet about their departure. With a sad face, she wishes she could see them off at the station. Jade shrugs it off. As for him, it's the thought that counts, and he also wanted to see her off to work. She blushes and laughs softly, calling him sweet. With that, Jade leaves with Domi for their destination, the neighboring country of Linvok. It's the second day searching for Onyx, and Jade, along with Domi, is passing through the woods. He asks if she is feeling scared. Feeling nervous, she stutters and claims she is all right. She says they will have to camp out if they go too slow. Because of this, she asks how long it will take to reach the next town. Jade states it will take 3 hours if everything goes smoothly. He reflects that they set out to Linvok to get more information on Onyx. Before heading out, he also accepted a quest. According to the quest, he needs to subjugate a ghost. Domi gets excited, thinking in 3 hours it will be dinner time. However, Jade tells her they must eliminate the ghost before eating. Domi goes silent for a moment and then turns pale, asking if they really have to fight a wraith. Jade wonders if he forgot to tell her, but internally finds it strange that a dragon is afraid of a ghost. He explains ghosts are not wraiths but are formless beasts. Domi does not see a difference. Jade further clarifies that formless beasts have a physical form and the ability to transform. He explains that ghosts can read deep into a person's mind and transform into whatever one fears the most. The ghost's strength depends on the creature it faces. Domi sulks and says Garnet would be a great help if she were present. Jade recalls the event when Garnet was frightened by a spider which turned out to be a ghost. He tells Domi not to be scared, assuring her he will defeat the ghost no matter what shape it takes. Domi remains concerned, thinking about what will happen if the ghost transforms into something Jade fears. She asks what he is scared of. He states that in the past he was afraid of a basilisk, but overcame his fear after defeating it. He says there is no need for concern now, because a basilisk's poison cannot penetrate his reinforcement magic. Domi, feeling relieved, calls him super strong. Internally, Jade thinks about the problem. They do not know what the ghost currently looks like. He wishes to be out of the woods by the end of the day. Suddenly, they hear loud snoring sounds. Domi asks about the strange sound, and Jade thinks it is not the wind, but resembles the breath of a large monster. He decides to look into it. Domi, panicking, asks about the ghost, and Jade suspects the sound must be coming from it. As they move forward, he considers that it is common for a ghost to turn into a large beast. To their surprise, they find a large black dragon sleeping on the ground. Domi thinks the dragon looks strong, and Jade adds that black dragons are indeed powerful. He points out it is a ghost. When she asks how he knows, Jade mentions black dragons are not found in this region. He explains that black dragons naturally live in high places like mountains because they do not want to be looked down on. Jade decides to check it out by himself, and instructs Domi to stay behind. She nods, deciding to support him from there. The dragon opens its eyes as Jade comes near. He reasons that if this is a ghost, it will not attack right away, since they are cautious and transform into what one fears most. As he approaches, the dragon starts transforming. Meanwhile, Domi observes from behind. Jade is stunned when he sees the ghost has transformed into an old woman. Domi becomes confused and asks if this is what he fears most. Jade nods, admitting he is afraid of his grandmother, and notes that the ghost looks exactly like her. Domi does not find his grandmother scary. He explains she is not scary now, but he found her frightening in the past. The ghost, now in the form of his grandmother, starts hitting Jade with her bare hands. Jade wonders how he can defeat the ghost. Suddenly, something clicks in his mind and he calls Domi. Domi protests, saying she will not fight his grandmother. Jade clarifies he just wants the ghost to transform into whatever she is scared of. She understands and steps forward to face the ghost. Spotting her, the ghost turns into a wild bear-like beast which terrifies Domi. She screams as the beast starts chasing her. Meanwhile, Jade punches the beast hard, making it spit blood. The beast collapses and Domi turns back, asking if it is defeated. Jade nods and adds that he got the mana stone as well, meaning the quest is complete. Domi gets excited, raising her hand and planning to sleep on a soft, fluffy bed. Later, as they walk, she remarks that she was surprised to see his grandmother suddenly appear, and wonders if he fought with her. Jade makes it clear they never fought, explaining that his grandmother was kind to him. When he decided to become an adventurer, she gave her full support. Still, Domi asks why he is scared of her. He explains that his grandmother is very gentle, but once gave him an earful when he was a kid. He wanted to experience the thrill of being an adventurer, so he went out in the middle of the night and got lost. He was lost in the woods for 3 days. When he finally returned home, his parents were relieved, but his grandmother gave him the biggest scolding of his life. From then on, he decided never to worry his family again. It was his first time seeing her angry, and that memory is engraved in his mind. Dormy never thought he would have a story like that. She cannot imagine how Jade's grandmother would look when angry. She becomes curious to find out whose grandmother is scarier, his or hers. Jade wonders if Doromi has a grandmother as well. He asks how her parents look, but to his surprise, Doromi does not know either. She thinks it would be amazing if they were kind like her. Jade asks about her grandmother. Doromi explains her grandmother is not blood-related and just lived with her. He learns she was living at a house before they met. Jade asks why she started living in an abandoned mine. Doromi says it was because her grandmother almost found out about her. After being confused, Jade asks if she was living there in secret. Doromi explains that she used to wander alone, but soon got hungry and decided to get some food from a house she came across. Jade asks if she barged into their house herself. She nods confidently and wonders how he knows that. Jade adds that if her grandmother almost found her, then they were unaware of Doromi's presence. Doromi states she was planning to meet them properly so she could get some food. She knocked on their door, but nobody answered. She opened it herself and found food on the table inside. Doromi started eating and soon finished all of it. Afterward, she cried when she realized what she had done. She found it too hard to apologize directly. Soon her grandmother returned, so Doromi hid herself in the attic. Downstairs, she heard her grandmother's angry voice and got scared. Having nowhere to go, Doromi stayed there for about a year. Jade is stunned and asks about the food. Doromi explains she would eat when her grandmother went to bed. One day, she heard her grandmother say she knew Doromi was downstairs. After that, the grandmother started climbing up to the attic to get her. Doromi then escaped through a window, flew out, and ended up at the mines. Jade asks if Doromi never met her grandmother in person. She nods, saying if she did, her grandmother would be mad at her. With a sad face, Doromi wishes to meet her grandmother so she can properly thank and apologize for everything. Jade asks where her grandmother lives. Doromi says she does not know much but remembers it was a very bright town at night. Jade thinks that if it's like that, it must be a major city. When Doromi asks about such cities, Jade reveals that only a few come to mind, but the closest one is in the monarchy of Linvok. He asks if she would like to go there, and she nods, asking if he is okay with it. Jade nods, stating they are already going there, and that he will get a present for Garnet as well. Doromi becomes happy and says she cannot wait to find her grandmother. This time, she decides not to run away and hopes to get another chance from her grandmother. They finally arrive at the monarchy of Linvok, commercial city Akanai. Doromi is extremely excited and marvels at how huge the city is. Jade comments on the beauty of the city, then asks if she recognizes anything. She isn't sure and explains that her grandmother's house was much plainer than the houses she sees now. Jade thinks it makes sense, believing Doromi wouldn't have seen much of the area since she spent a year hiding in an attic. As they move forward, Doromi notices the many stores around them. She wonders if she could find a replacement for the sword she broke that morning. Jade points out that she got very attached to that stick. Privately, he doubts anyone here would sell sticks. He mentions there probably won't be any stock of her sword, so he suggests she choose something else that he can buy for her. Before that, he wants to gather information about Onyx. They go straight to the commercial city guild hall. At the guild hall, a receptionist apologizes, explaining that she isn't allowed to give personal information to third parties. She bows and apologizes again, making things difficult for Jade, who didn't expect such guild rules. The receptionist adds that if it were a family member, it would be allowed. Jade says he understands, thinking it wouldn't help if he mentioned he plans to marry the person's daughter in the future. He then considers going to a bar or inn, places where adventurers gather to collect information about Onyx. Unexpectedly, Doromi starts pleading with the receptionist, explaining that Onyx is their friend's father and offering a rock in exchange for help. The receptionist finds her cute but still apologizes, saying she cannot break the rules. Doromi offers her a second rock, which is her favorite. The receptionist, completely charmed by Doromi's cuteness, decides to check with the guildmaster. When Jade asks if that's acceptable, the receptionist says she can at least ask the master personally. Doromi thanks her and asks her to take care of the rocks. The receptionist, nervous, insists she can't accept them because it would put pressure on her. Later, the guildmaster greets Jade warmly, happy to see him again. Jade humbly thanks him for his help. The guildmaster shrugs it off, saying Jade has done plenty for them already. Doromi, curious, asks if they know each other. Jade nods, and the guild master explains that they needed help from him to take down a black dragon, as their own adventurers weren't effective enough. He then changes the topic, mentioning he heard they are searching for someone and need access to the guild records. Jade confidently nods and explains that Onyx is the father of someone he cares about, and that he disappeared 12 years ago. He says they visited the guild to get information about him, and both he and Doromia request the master's help. After a brief silence, the guild master says he would have refused the request if it was anyone other than Jade. Jade asks if there won't be any problems. The guild master replies that since Jade has helped them in the past, it's only right to return the favor. Both thank him sincerely. The guild master says he'll need 3 days to look through the records from 12 years ago. Jade agrees to wait. They end their discussion with smiles. The guild master requests that Jade return in 3 days, and they'll provide whatever information they find. The next morning, Jade and Doromi walk through the streets. Doromi asks what they will do for the next 2 days. Jade plans to shop for something for Garnet. Doromi suggests buying local fruits for her, thinking Garnet will be happy with some peaches. Doromi is still amazed by the taste of the peaches she had that morning at the inn. She never imagined something could melt in her mouth like that. She's excited about the seeds the innkeeper gave them, which they can plant at home. Jade suggests they buy fruits on their last day so they can take fresh fruit home. Doromi then asks about their plans for the day. Jade spots a store and decides to go inside. They find many antiques arranged beautifully. Doromi finds them cute and says they could spend the whole day just looking. Jade points out an item, asking if Garnet would like it as a gift. It's a watering can. Doromi thinks Garnet would enjoy watering the plants with it. Jade agrees, imagining Garnet smiling and thanking him. He decides to buy it as her first gift. He then suggests Doromi pick something for herself, thinking she'll need a watering can for the peach seedlings. Doromi selects a snail-shaped watering can because she likes snails. She remembers finding a snail to talk to when she was alone, taking shelter from the rain. Suddenly, she spots something that shocks her. A sword similar to the one she broke. Jade explains it is actually a flute, an instrument that makes sound when blown. Doromi finds it cool, and when she holds it, she feels like her sword has been reborn. She glances at Jade, who immediately understands her meaning, so he buys it for her. Doromi is happy and plans to practice to entertain others. Jade thinks a flute is a good way to pass time during long journeys. Doromi asks what else he wants to buy. He decides to look around more. Then he suggests buying a gift for her grandmother. Doromi gets excited at the idea of finding something for her as well. They search through lots of items, trying to find the perfect gift. After some time, they leave the shop, and Doromi thanks him for buying so many gifts. While carrying the boxes, Jade thinks they may have gone overboard. Suddenly, Doromi shouts and points at an old lady standing ahead, who appears to be praying. Jade asks if that is her grandmother. Doromi isn't sure, so she decides to look more closely. She observes the old lady for a moment, then nods. Jade calmly suggests it would be good for her to meet her grandmother again, and tells her just to apologize. He offers to call out to the old lady for her. Doromi suggests waiting to see what her grandmother does first, thinking she might get hit if she talks to her too suddenly. Jade insists her grandmother won't do that and offers to go with her. Doromi refuses, saying it was her own mistake and she has to apologize on her own. As the old lady leaves, they follow her through the streets and out to the edge of town. They arrive at her house. Doromi admits it is time for her to apologize. She reaches the door but just stands there instead of knocking. Jade asks why she isn't knocking. Doromi explains it's her grandmother's tea time, so she doesn't want to disturb her. Internally, Jade wants to shout that they're already there, but he realizes she needs to go at her own pace. He suggests they return home for now and have lunch, thinking she'll feel less anxious after eating. As they are about to leave, the old lady comes out and asks what they are doing there. Doromi goes pale, and Jade also notices that the old lady has seen them from her window. Doromi starts sweating, murmuring that they aren't strange people. She claims they were just playing Petrol, in which she acts as a princess. Jade admits to himself that Doromi is dressed like a princess, but her explanation isn't convincing anyone. When her grandmother asks what she means, Doromi panics and adds that since her grandmother is there, they also need a queen. She continues, saying her grandmother's house is perfect for their base because it looks like a castle. The old lady asks if she really means that. Doromi confirms and insists she would be happy to live in a house like this in the future, even praising its seasoned walls. Her grandmother looks at Doromi critically, then suddenly yells, stopping her, because Doromi hasn't been given permission to touch anything. Doromi becomes frightened and looks down as she starts to apologize. Meanwhile, Jade notices the poor state of the house's walls. He reminds Doromi that she wanted to say something nice to her grandmother. The old lady asks what this is about. Domi starts by mumbling, then raises her voice to say she loves helping people and wants to help her. She insists she is good at cleaning. Jade thinks Domi is trying to butter up her grandmother before apologizing. However, the old lady becomes furious and asks if Domi thinks she's so old that she can't clean her own house. Domi panics and denies it, insisting her grandmother looks young, like she's in her 20s. The old lady tells her not to flatter her about her age. Domi apologizes and mutters she looks about 70. The old lady says she didn't need to say that, then sighs and accepts Domi's offer to clean the house, admitting it's rather dusty. Later, Domi wrings out a cloth and starts cleaning. Her grandmother tells her to begin with the windows, so Domi cleans them until they shine. The old lady praises her work. Next is the floor, and Domi scrubs it diligently, yelling for the dust to go away. The old lady turns to leave, instructing Jade to make Domi take a break if she gets tired, because it would be troublesome if she collapsed. Jade listens quietly. While cleaning the floor with Domi, Jade asks if she wants to take a break. Domi insists she's fine and wants to see the job through. Jade realizes they haven't eaten lunch yet and is sure Domi must be hungry. After finishing the floor, Domi decides to clean the attic and suggests Jade rest if he wants to. He decides to help her until they're done, especially with the attic. As Jade searches for the attic stairs, Domi leads the way. She is surprised to find the attic is already so clean. Jade notes it's almost spotless, and there's even a mattress pad and a soft blanket, which Domi says wasn't there before. Jade wonders if the old lady is expecting someone to stay there. Domi agrees and says they're finished cleaning. She suddenly feels her energy drain away, realizing how hungry she is after all the work. At that moment, her grandmother calls them downstairs because the food is getting cold. Domi gets excited at the prospect of food, but asks Jade if it's all right for her to eat. Jade tells her it would be rude not to eat since the old lady prepared the meal for them, and Domi agrees. They head downstairs to find a table full of food. Domi's stomach growls even louder. The old lady notices and Domi explains she's starving because neither of them had lunch. The old lady smiles and asks why Domi didn't say anything. Domi replies that she was too focused on cleaning. Domi politely asks if it's all right for her to eat. Her grandmother tells her to eat while the food is hot, explaining that stew loses flavor when it gets cold. Domi thanks her for the meal, and Jade grabs a plate as well. Domi takes the first sip of stew and clearly feels its warmth. Her grandmother tells her to enjoy herself and advises Jade to eat before the food gets cold. Late at night, Domi lies in bed, recalling that her grandmother gave her both food and a place to sleep. Domi offers to help more, but the old lady tells her to stay the night. Jade advises her to accept the old lady's hospitality. Domi's eyes begin to close as she thinks she missed her chance to apologize, but promises to do so tomorrow. She falls asleep mid-conversation, and Jade notes she's exhausted from cleaning all day. Though it's early, he decides he should get some sleep too. Looking out the window, Jade sees how the lights from the main street reach all the way to the house. He finds the view beautiful and thinks of Garnet. He imagines how stunning the scenery must be from the mountaintops, and decides to take Garnet on a date there next time. Suddenly, the old lady notices him awake and startles him. He confirms he's still up. She asks about Domi, and he replies that she's fallen asleep. Jade suggests waking Domi if her grandmother has something to say, but the old lady shakes her head, believing it would be cruel to wake her up. She asks if Jade has time, and he nods. After a brief pause, she asks to borrow some of his time. They sit at the dining table, where the old lady offers him tea. She serves and takes a sip. Jade asks if she doesn't want sugar. The old lady says sugar isn't good for her, but tells Jade to use as much as he likes. Jade shrugs, but then recalls Domi's stories about her grandmother, always leaving sweets out, and remembers seeing the old lady buy donuts. He asks if she's expecting guests. The old lady replies, asking if anyone would want to visit a mean old woman's house. Jade insists that isn't true, pointing out that if she were truly mean, she wouldn't have cooked for them. The old lady explains she only cooked as thanks for cleaning the house. Jade mentions the donuts she left for Domi, but the old lady claims she just forgot to eat them. He points out that she also stopped Domi from touching the wall. After a pause, the old lady explains she didn't want Domi to cut herself on the wall, as she didn't want blood in the house. Jade realizes he had misunderstood her intentions, thinking she was angry, when in reality she was worried about Domi's safety. He notes that, although her tone is rough, she's actually a kind person. He still wonders about the sweets and donuts, but reminds himself she is Domi's grandmother. The old lady asks if Jade and Domi live nearby. Jade says they live in the capital of Sundale Kingdom. The old lady smiles warmly and acknowledges this. She then says she wants to express her thanks while she has the chance. Jade is confused and asks what she means. She sincerely thanks him for bringing the girls with him. Jade asks if she has recognized Domi. The old lady nods, saying they lived together for a year. She adds that Domi has grown taller, but her face is unforgettable. She explains the house is too big for just one person, and Jade silently agrees, noticing how many rooms it has. The old lady shares that, in the past, the house was lively with her daughters, but now they've all become independent and made their own lives. Jade comments that children have to leave the nest eventually, and that it's both a happy and lonely moment, a complicated feeling. The old lady asks if Jade has children. He shakes his head, but says he has thought about how to spend time with them. He imagines having children with Garnet and spending time with them, but knows that one day they'll leave too. He understands the old lady's point. Children become independent, and he'll experience the same someday. Seeing Jade lost in thought, the old lady calls him a strange man. She says she can't speak for others, but when she was alone, she often imagined life with her children. Now, thinking about them leaving is painful since they all have their own families. Still, she says it wasn't so bad because one day, a cute roommate appeared out of nowhere. Jade asks when she realized Domi was living with her. The old lady says she knew by the second day when she found Domi eating leftovers in front of her. Jade is surprised Domi was so bold so soon. He asks if the old lady spoke to her then. She explains she felt sorry for Domi, seeing her nervously trying to eat. The old lady realized Domi didn't have a home, so she pretended not to notice her. She believes Domi would have run away if she had known the truth. Jade asks if all those sweets were left on purpose. The old lady confirms she made them specifically for Domi, feeling bad that the girl only ate leftovers. Those memories are precious to her. Jade says Domi grew a lot that year and thanks the old lady for raising her. The old lady insists she should be the one giving thanks, since Domi brought her happiness. Jade remarks that Domi would be glad to hear that, but the old lady doesn't want Domi to know. She fears pushing Domi too much might scare her again. He asks what she means. The old lady reveals she wanted to care for Domi as her own granddaughter, and wished for this to be Domi's home if she had nowhere else to go. On the other hand, Domi ran away, thinking her grandmother was angry. Jade finally understands the whole picture. The old lady says she was always worried for Domi's safety, and seeing her again has brought her relief. She tells him she was skeptical about the wish fountain, but it worked. She has seen her wish granted. Jade realizes the old lady was praying at the fountain to see Domi again. The old lady observes that Domi has found a kind companion, which she deserves. Jade thinks it's true for both of them, and believes Domi will understand that her grandmother is a kind person. Still, the old lady says she isn't looking for confirmation. She smiles warmly and says that meeting Domi again is enough for her. Jade is left stunned by her words. Later, he returns to the room where Domi sleeps soundly. Now that he understands everything, he decides he will step in and mediate between them tomorrow. On their third day in Linvox's commercial city, Domi is happy to do all the things her grandma asked her to do. She holds a basket of peaches and believes the old lady will like them. On top of that, she hasn't eaten a single peach herself. She believes her grandma will realize how sorry she is through this gesture. Jade agrees with her. He recalls that the grandmother sent them both to run errands. He sees Domi's calm face and asks if she is planning to apologize once they go back. Internally, he thinks it will be harder for her if this goes on for much longer. He believes Domi will feel at ease when he tells her about the conversation he had with the woman. However, he thinks it is not his place to do so. On the other hand, the grandmother is acting like she has never even noticed the girl. Jade knows an apology only matters when someone decides to apologize personally. Therefore, he decides to help her walk on the right path. With determination, Domi reveals she has decided to apologize once they go back. Jade nods as he hopes for her to show her feelings well. Later, they go back to the house. Inside, Domi gives her the fruits. Grandma thanks her in return and suggests she rest in her room. Standing there for a moment, Domi tells her she needs to say something. When the old lady asks about it, Domi bows down. She finally reveals she used to live in the attic. She admits she sneaked out to eat the food from time to time. She apologizes sincerely. Silence spreads in the room. As Domi looks up towards her grandma, the old lady asks if she really enjoyed the food she left for her. Domi fills up with emotions. She nods and tells her it was good whether it was cold or hot. She admits they were all delicious. The old lady smiles as she leans in. She tells Domi to come back to try her food again. Domi worriedly asks if she is fine with that because she has been bad. However, the old lady insists she is a good girl because she appreciated the cooking. With that, Doromi grabs her and calls her Grandma as she thanks her from her heart. Grandma smiles softly seeing her. Then, she reveals her plan about making a cake. Doromi gets excited and asks if she is going to make a peach cake. The old lady nods. She tells her she can eat as much as she can. Doromi excitedly decides to help her. Jade joins her as well. Then he remembers he has brought a gift for the old lady as well. Later, as the peach cake is ready, all of them sit together to enjoy it. Afterward, Jade and Doromi leave the house as they wave at each other. Later that evening, they finally come back to the capital. Jade remarks this trip was longer than expected. Meanwhile, Doromi feels the nostalgic smell of the capital. Jade suggests going to the guild first. Doromi gets excited to talk about her adventure to the other kids. In the meantime, she also watches over their stuff. Stepping inside the guild, Jade thinks about meeting Garnet. However, the other adventurers spot him from afar and come to him. They are happy to see him. Jade says the same thing. One adventurer gets nervous hearing this from Jade because he himself is just rank 4. More adventurers join in. They remark that they can go on an adventure in peace just because Jade has defeated lots of powerful monsters. One comments about his dad saying powerful monsters go wild from time to time. Someone else says the risks for them have decreased since Jade eliminated so many of them. Jade knows he has taken all of those quests just to talk with Garnet. Still, he is glad it has impacted others positively. Going to Garnet's reception, he thinks he just can't wait to talk with her. As she calls for the next person in line, Jade goes in. He greets her and tells her his name. He adds that he is here to report on a quest. Seeing him, Garnet smiles warmly. She then requests him to wait a bit. Jade notes how dazzling she looks. Next, she requests him to examine the monostone he got from subjugating the ghost. On the surface, Garnet looks normal, but Jade feels she is a bit more cheerful than usual. He wonders if she is happy to see him. After finishing the examination, Garnet holds a check of 20 million gold. Meanwhile, Jade thinks if she is happy to see him, then that makes him really happy. He happily accepts the check from her. Later that day, Doromi is happy to be back home. After that, she spots Jade sorting the things they brought. He explains he is going to meet Garnet later. Therefore, he decided to get her present ready. With a sad face, he reminds himself he has to give her the news regarding Onyx. He has to tell her he couldn't get any info on him. He also made the guild staff check logs to find if Onyx has visited anywhere else. Unfortunately, there were no such records of him going to the guilds in the commercial cities. Additionally, he got a letter of introduction from the guild master. He plans to search at Linkov's capital next. Suddenly, someone knocks at the door. This makes Doromi wonder who has come. As they open the door, they find Garnet. She welcomes the both of them back. Doromi excitedly reveals she is happy to be back. Garnet asks if they have enjoyed the trip. Jade nods. He adds they have also brought some gifts which they will give to her later. But before that, he wishes to tell her something over dinner. Later at a restaurant, Jade reveals to Garnet that he hasn't got any information on Onyx from Akanai's guild hall. Therefore, he is thinking of going to the capital. Garnet acknowledges this as she understands the situation. She thanks him for giving her this information. She adds that he doesn't need to rush. Garnet admits she wants to meet her father, but at the same time, she feels lonely when those two are away. Doromi adds she also feels sad when she isn't with them. Jade also reveals he gets depressed when he is not able to see her. Deep down, he wishes to make Garnet his girlfriend. He wants to be by her side. Then his expression hardens as he reveals how much he loves her. Therefore, he wants her to be happy. That is the reason why he is searching for her father. Garnet blushes. She says she can't wait to introduce him to her father. She wants to tell him how caring and loving her boyfriend is. Seeing him go pale, Garnet asks if he is fine. Jade nods and states he is just on edge. Then he wonders if Onyx will approve of their relationship. Garnet chuckles as she doesn't see any reason why her father wouldn't approve. Jade thanks her and then goes to his thoughts. To him, Garnet is a beautiful woman. She is kind and has a balanced personality. She cooks well, plus she smells heavenly. Meanwhile, Garnet finds their food has arrived. But Jade is still in his thoughts. He wonders if her father would be okay giving his perfect daughter to someone like him. Later back home, Doromi falls on the chair because she is 100% full. Jade remarks it was inevitable since she ate peaches after dinner. Meanwhile, Garnet chuckles seeing them like this after a long time. After that, Garnet comments they have brought many gifts as she sees the presents. To that, Jade explains he got carried away. He bought so many because he was being careful about what to choose. However, Garnet is totally fine with that. She likes them because her boyfriend got them for her. She thanks Jade sincerely and decides to treasure the gift. Hearing this, Jade cries internally. He feels overwhelmed, noting how casually Garnet has said that. On the other hand, Doremi feels a bit anxious nearby. Garnet leans towards her as she thanks her for the peaches she gave her. However, Doremi points out it was Jade that bought them, but Garnet insists it was Doremi who picked them out. That means it is a gift from her. Doremi wonders if this is how it works. She feels like she has gotten it for herself. Then Jade suggests she tell about her adventure. Doremi confusingly wonders if it can be considered a gift. Jade insists she considers sharing her memories as a gift. Then Garnet shows a great interest in hearing Doremi's stories. Doremi smiles warmly as she plans to tell a bunch of stories. Later, Doremi feels sleepy. Jade notes it is pretty late. Therefore, he suggests Garnet get some rest as well. But it turns out Garnet has taken a day off for tomorrow. She wants to spend time with the two of them. Jade gets surprised. He plans to spend a good time with her tomorrow. Sleepy Doremi decides to go to bed to get ready for the next day. However, Jade reminds her to take a bath before going to bed. Right then, he remembers there is no bath at Garnet's place. Then he asks her if there are baths open at this hour. Unfortunately, Garnet shakes her head. Therefore, Doremi suggests she take a bath with them at their place. Jade agrees. Then he imagines her wearing a bathrobe. He wonders if she is going to bathe here. When Garnet points out it would be a bother, Jade shakes his head. He insists she take her time to relax. Meanwhile, he reminds himself he has designed that bathroom for her initially. He believes the bathroom will be super happy about this as well. Doremi gets excited as she wishes to go together with Garnet. Plus, she suggests using one of the bath bombs Jade has given her. Garnet nods as she is totally fine with that. With that, Doremi gets super excited about taking a bath. Out of nowhere, she asks Jade to join them as well. Jade gets a shock. He believes it is not a good idea. He thinks his heart will explode. Plus, there is no way Garnet would be okay with that. He notes it is all written on her face that she doesn't want that. But to his surprise, she doesn't hate the idea. Jade gets stunned. Next, she asks if he would like to join them. Jade gets extremely shocked and blushes at the thought of taking a bath with Garnet. He doesn't buy it at first and wonders if she is joking or being serious. He refuses to take a bath with them, revealing he is a bit tired. Internally, he admits he is fully awake, but Garnet understands and decides to go ahead. Doremi guides her toward the bathroom. For Jade, the idea of taking a bath with Garnet is simply too much. He can't even hold her hands properly yet, so he reminds himself to calm down before she finishes. After a couple of minutes, Doremi and Garnet start their bath, and both of them enjoy their time. Jade tries to calm himself down, and after some time, Garnet comes out and remarks that the bath was perfect. He closes his eyes immediately, but then he sees her in her casual clothes and calms down, admitting he almost lost his cool. He blushes, thinking she makes his heart beat faster every day, and remembers they are going out on a date tomorrow. As her boyfriend, he considers it his duty to escort her properly. Garnet waves as she prepares to leave, and he waves back. Afterward, he decides to practice how to hold her hand naturally for tomorrow. The next day arrives, and she comes to greet them looking lovely. He blushes because he finds her even cuter, and Doremi remarks the weather is perfect for an outing. Jade comments it is a total bliss spending time with someone as cute as her, thinking that this time he will surely hold her hand because he practiced so much. Right then, he catches Garnet looking at his neck and asks if something is wrong. She blushes and shrugs it off, stating he shouldn't mind it. She adds she made lunch as well and asks if they will eat it later. Doremi gets excited seeing a homemade lunch, and Jade thanks her for making it, eager to try it. Deep down, he is in disbelief that they are going on a date and that he gets to eat her cooking. All three go out, visiting shops, doing different art-related activities, and going to a garden. For Garnet, it is the best day off. When lunchtime arrives, Doremi feels excited to eat at the park. Seeing her reaction, Garnet comments she looks excited to eat. Jade explains that Doremi likes her cooking, but he can't believe it is already lunchtime. He was enjoying himself so much it made him forget to hold her hand. Sitting on the bench, he plans not to waste his chance. While opening the lunchbox, she reveals she made plenty of sandwiches and tells them to eat as much as they want. There are 3 types of sandwiches: egg, ham and cheese, and lettuce and tomato. Both Jade and Doremi are excited to try them and begin eating. Jade can't get enough and finds the texture of the bread amazing. It makes him happy to think she made these specially for them, and he exclaims that this is the most delicious thing he has ever eaten. After thanking him, she looks towards something nearby. Following her gaze, he finds she is looking at a sign for a theater. He wonders if she is interested in going and asks if she wants to watch a play. She asks if he is interested in those kinds of things, and Jade says he at least wants to experience watching one. She shows interest in seeing the play, adding that she can't go there alone. Jade notes it will be a romantic play, which sets a romantic mood for him to hold her hand. He hopes this becomes a good memory. And finally, they sit inside the theater just before the show starts. The play begins, and Jade notes the story is about a knight and a princess from two different social standings. It is sad that things cannot work out when people are from different backgrounds, and he is grateful it is not the case between him and Garnet. Still, he considers her a princess. As the story continues, more obstacles arise. Soon, a marriage proposal from a prince of an enemy state comes for the princess to sign an armistice. The knight gives up his feelings and offers his blessings while she accepts the proposal for her country. Unfortunately, this is a trap set by the enemy country. Jade grows saddened as the wedding day arrives. During the ceremony, enemy soldiers attack and take the guests hostage. The knights eliminate the enemies one by one until it comes down to a duel between the knight and the enemy prince. Even though the knight wins, he has used all of his strength. In the arms of the princess, they confess their feelings to each other. As the knight draws his last breath, he dies with a smile. As the play ends, Garnet comments on how sad the story is. Jade agrees but is glad they were able to see it. Deep down, he thinks the knight gives him courage, and finds himself lucky compared to the characters who had to overcome such obstacles. He decides to hold her hand with courage, just as the knight did in his final scene. His body trembles as he raises his hand, but unexpectedly she moves her hand away to look toward Domi, who has fallen asleep. She comments on her sleeping and feels bad waking her up. Therefore, Jade steps forward to carry the girl and suggests going back to the bench where they ate lunch. Carrying Domi on his back, he wonders if he will get another chance to hold Garnet's hand. Later, as they sit in the park, Jade notes it is getting dark and thinks Domi isn't going to wake up soon. He hopes for a chance to hold her hand on their next date. On the bench, the girl sleeps with her head in Jade's lap. Meanwhile, Garnet stares at him, and he notices, asking if there is something on his neck. Garnet turns away, blushing, and shrugs it off. In a low voice, she asks about his next adventure. Jade reveals he plans to leave after a few more days and asks why she is inquiring. She states she is taking time off in 2 days because she plans to introduce him to her mother. He startles, realizing the time has come, and she asks if he is nervous. Jade nods, stating he doesn't know if her mother will accept their relationship. However, she tries to calm him down, stating they just need to show her mother they have gotten closer to receive her blessing. He imagines holding her hand when he thinks about getting close, and he truly wants to be even closer to her. He asks her directly if she is okay with holding hands. After a brief pause, she reveals she was thinking the same thing. Jade feels relief and reveals he was waiting for the right time to ask. She assures him she will hold his hand anytime, but explains she can't do it today because her hands are sweaty and her heart is beating fast. Then she reveals she has a gift for him. It is a pendant, and Jade finds it beautiful, asking if it is the same as hers. She explains the one she wears belonged to her mother, and her parents wore these until they got married. Jade understands the one she is giving him belongs to Onyx and asks if it is all right for her to give something so valuable. She explains she wants him to have it. Furthermore, her mother instructed her to give this to someone she loves in the future. Her mother told her their relationship would become like theirs, two people who cherish and love each other. Garnet wants a similar relationship and wants to get closer to Jade. He looks at her affectionately and accepts the gift, deciding to fulfill her wishes. He promises to be with her forever, and she asks if she can put it on him. He requests her to do so, and as she gets close, she spreads her arms around him. Jade wonders if she is hugging him, then tries to calm himself by remembering she is just putting the pendant on him. After finishing, she tells him it is done, and Jade thanks her sincerely. He looks down at the pendant while she smiles warmly at him. Right then, Domi wakes up and wonders how they came to be outside. Jade tells her she fell asleep during the play, while Garnet mentions it had a sad ending. Then Jade reveals they are going to meet the mother in 2 weeks. Domi gets super excited because she and Marin are finally reuniting. Jade gets up and mentions the sun is going down and it will get chilly. He reaches out his hand to help Garnet up, and she smiles, holding his hand. They keep holding hands on their way back home. She remarks how warm his hand is, and Jade replies it is because he was feeling nervous. Looking for more information regarding Onyx, Domi and Jade reach the capital of Linvok. Jade steps out of the Linvok Capital Guild Hall, where Domi is waiting for him, and he reveals to her that they have to wait for 5 days so the guild can go through the logs of Onyx visiting there. Domi gets surprised as she wonders if they are going home earlier than expected, but Jade nods and adds that the capital is holding a festival on the king's upcoming birthday. The guild isn't busy, and Jade reveals the festival will take 3 days. After that, Doremi suggests looking for souvenirs as she wants to buy something for Marin, and Jade reminds her that it is in 10 days. He notes in his head that there is a big event coming after this trip because he needs to introduce himself to Garnet's mother. He feels a bit nervous introducing himself as her daughter's boyfriend, but he recalls that Garnet just wants them to show their closeness and her mother will give them her blessing. Thinking about showing their closeness, he sees a couple walking ahead, holding their hands as he wonders how to show they are really close. He smiles as he recalls he was able to hold her hand, then thinks it will be fine. Next, as Jade and Doremi walk ahead, she gets super excited and points ahead towards the crowd. Both of them decide to take a look, and Doremi gets excited feeling the vibes of the festival. They spend their time eating snacks and looking at different things in shops, and eventually they end up sitting on stairs where Doremi is enjoying her drink. Doremi finds the drink good, therefore she thinks of giving this to Momochi. Jade doesn't think Momochi can drink that because Momochi is the name of a peach seed Doremi is growing, and Jade thinks she is working hard to take care of it. For now, Momochi is staying at Garnet's place until they get back, and suddenly Doremi decides to buy a present for Momochi as well, and she starts to wonder what she should buy. All of a sudden, she spots a stall and she wonders what it is about. So Jade explains it is the reception for an event tomorrow. There they are holding a competition on who is the cutest, and a surge of dopamine hits Doremi as she wonders how Marin will react if she wins the competition. Jade adds it is a national event, and then Doremi decides to participate in this as well. Jade is okay with that, which makes Doremi think she will take gold back home, and with that they go to the reception. Filling the form, Jade believes it will be an interesting story for Doremi to tell Marin when they meet. After filling in the form, Jade decides to buy things for the competition. However, Doremi insists they don't need to, as she has shades already. Jade gets stunned as he wonders if she is really planning to wear those in the competition. And next, she explains she has a dress as well, which she received from Garnet. Jade admits that those clothes are very adorable. Still, he suggests buying something to match those clothes for it to become a good memory. He believes it is a good idea to get out of her bubble to do something new, and Doremi agrees with him, so he thinks he needs to give her one more push. Therefore, he explains to her that she can later tell Marin about the contest, and also tell her about all the fashion aspects of it. Like she can tell these things were popular in the contest, which will make Marin feel amazed, and finally Doremi agrees to go shopping. Later, they go to a clothing store and unexpectedly she grabs a skull pendant, as she thinks it will be a good fit. She believes the judges will think of it as the skull of a monster she has defeated, but Jade wonders if she wants to show off. He points out that this looks too small. Hence, Doremi decides to buy a bigger one. Therefore, Jade calls for the clerk to get some assistance. The clerk arrives and asks how she can help them, and it turns out the clerk is a small girl who is here to assist them. Doremi directly asks if she is separated from her mother, but the clerk yells that her name is Dell and she isn't lost. Doremi calls her amazing as she has started doing work at such a young age, and Dell explains she isn't an employee but is helping out her parents at the store. Then she asks if they need her assistance, and Jade nods as he notes she is the same age as Doremi, and believes they will get some solid advice from her. Jade explains to her they need accessories that look good with Doremi's dress, but she insists on getting a bigger skull. Dell gets something in her mind but says it doesn't have a skull, but that will pair well with the dress. Dell shows them a moon pendant, and Jade insists to Doremi that this will look better for the contest. However, she has that skull on her mind. Suddenly, Dell asks with excitement if she is entering a contest, and Doremi proudly nods. Therefore, Dell suggests she put on makeup and get her nails done like her. Plus, she advises to comb her hair properly. Although Doremi thinks it is a lot of work, Dell puts on a serious face as she insists. She listened to her because she won the first place last year. Doremi calls her amazing, but Dell states it is not something big, and then she instructs her to wear heels to the contest, but she comments it will be hard to walk in those. But Dell insists she will be able to walk gracefully like her, after practicing, and their practice begins as Dell shows her graceful walk with heels. Doremi tries it, but Dell comments she is doing it all wrong, and she adds she is wasting it even after being cute. Doremi takes the compliment and calls her cute as well, and receiving the compliment, Dell reveals she is winning this year's contest as well. However, Doremi doesn't feel pressure, as she sincerely wishes her best for the contest, and to that Dell asks why she is calm, as if she is already a famous model. Doremi proudly states she is from the capital of Sundale and is pretty famous over there, as she has gone through various battlefields and got to stand here today. But Dell remains resolute, not planning to give up the first place, and she is planning to win and make the store into the spotlight. Domi finds it super cool, and Dell startles as she states she just wants to help her parents. But then she shows her a pair of heels as she believes she will need those in the competition. And Jade finds Dell super nice because even when she wants the first place, she is still helping. He bends a bit and decides to take the heels, and Dell gets happy and thanks him for his support. Finally, the day of the contest arrives and Domi is walking with her newly bought heels. From behind, Jade wishes her luck, and with that she goes straight to a tent. Meanwhile, Jade gets a bit worried thinking about her first ever competition, and he wonders if she will be fine. However, inside the waiting room, she is sitting nervously, and she looks at other participants thinking that seeing them look nervous makes her nervous as well. After thinking a bit, she tightly grips her sword flute as she reminds herself to act normal in times like this. Therefore, she starts playing the flute and nearby participants notice her playing. All of the participants look at her with amazement as Domi plays the flute with focus. As soon as she finishes playing the flute, all participants clap and they praise her performance. Domi notes that they are clapping for her, therefore she gets a bit embarrassed. She humbly says she is still a beginner as she has bought this only a month before. However, the girl comments, she is already that good within 1 month, which means she has been practicing it every day. Suddenly, someone comments that she is quite talented, and as she turns towards her, she finds Dell. However, Domi does not recognize her, therefore, Dell tells her it is her. Domi gets shocked because she looks very different from yesterday, and to that Dell explains that makeup changes one's appearance. Then she notes Domi has come here without any makeup, and she confidently announces that she wants to win just as she is. Dell grows a bit annoyed as she wonders where she is getting her confidence. However, she is still determined to not lose against Domi. Meanwhile, the other girls recognize Dell as the winner of last year's competition. They view Domi as her rival, which makes them think the contest is going to be intense. Dell remarks that Domi has gathered a lot of attention through her music, but she wants her to stay still as she wins the contest. Dell starts walking gracefully, and the other girls recognize the same walk that secured her victory last year. Dell chuckles as she reveals she has something else prepared. Initially, she decided to show this during her turn in the contest, but now she makes an exception just for Domi. She has trained for a year and has improved her way of walking, but as soon as she starts to walk, one heel breaks off and she falls to her knees. Domi worriedly approaches her, asking if she is all right. Fortunately, she says she is fine, but her heel is completely broken. A moment of silence passes in the waiting room. The silence breaks when a lady announces the beginning of the competition and calls for number 1 to get ready. Dell points out it is Domi's turn and insists she leave her and go, but Domi protests. Dell is stunned as she frowns, but Domi points out that Dell has been training for a year, unlike her. She adds that yesterday Dell gave her advice on different things. Therefore, she decides to give her heels to Dell. Even though Dell protests, Domi insists she does not worry about anything. Giving her shoes to Dell, she decides to go barefoot. Dell feels uneasy and asks if it is all right. But Domi, with a smile on her face, states she doesn't need to worry because she wants to see her new walk. After saying that, Domi leaves to present herself. She finally starts performing on stage while the crowd claps for her. She shows off her flute-playing skills and other talents with a happy smile. The crowd claps as she finishes her performance, and next it is contestant number 2's turn, which is Dell. She gets a hold of herself and, wearing the borrowed heels, gets ready to perform. Later, Jade and Domi walk with smiles, but she has a box in her hands. Someone runs towards them and asks them to wait. It is Dell, breathing heavily and holding her first-place trophy. She asks why Domi gave her shoes to her. Domi calmly says it is natural to help someone in need. But Dell frowns, stating she believes that if Domi hadn't done that, she might have won first place. Domi insists she doesn't care about that and shows her a bow pin which she received in the contest. She gives Dell a reminder that it can only be received by joining the contest and happily reveals that it is a perfect gift for her friend. Dell chuckles while listening to her and comments that her musical performance was very impressive. Domi thanks her and compliments her on her new walk. After that, both of them hold hands firmly and smile happily. Jade from behind smiles warmly seeing both of them. 4 days later, Jade finishes collecting information from the Linvok Capital Guild Hall. Therefore, both Jade and Domi return to Sundale. They go straight to the guild hall, and inside, Jade greets the staff and reveals he has come to report on a quest. Garnet tells him to wait for a bit, and he thinks he can wait as long as it takes because he is happy to see her in work mode. Garnet asks if this is about the nightmare Subjugation, but Jade is stunned to see her looking at him with affection. Then she starts examining the stone. Jade notes they have just made eye contact, and she has the most gentle smile. He finds her cute and smiles warmly, feeling pure bliss having Garnet as his girlfriend. He steps out of the guild thinking he will never stop visiting, and now he looks for Domi and finds her talking with the kids. But he feels something off as he notices she is feeling uneasy. He finds her not being super excited like her normal self. He wonders if something happened with the other kids, and suddenly he notices a mark on the hand of the girl who is talking with Domi. That marked girl leaves as she waves, and after that, Jade approaches Domi and apologizes for the wait. Domi greets him, but Jade asks if everything is all right. She shrugs it off, but he insists he feels something is off and asks if something happened with her friends. She startles and asks how he can tell, and he mentions he can tell by her face. After a brief pause, she starts speaking and mentions that her friends told her they have become real adventurers. Jade asks why she is feeling down, and she explains that if everyone becomes adventurers, then they won't listen to her adventure stories anymore. But Jade tells her not to worry, stating that while having adventures is fun, hearing stories of adventure has its own charm. But Domi is worried that all of them will eventually realize she is exaggerating and admits she isn't strong enough to do what she says in her stories. Jade points out that before they met, she was traveling all alone. However, she thinks that was in the past and states she can't do anything by herself now. After thinking a bit, Jade suggests she venture out solo. She recalls that the king said she cannot leave Jade's side. However, Jade explains that she can move around a bit as his official envoy. When she asks if those are like missions, he nods. He adds that for her age it will be a huge adventure, and when everyone hears she's successfully completed a mission solo, they will think how amazing it is to keep up with the duties of a rank 10 adventurer. Now, Domi is all fired up to fulfill her duties as his envoy, and Jade acknowledges her spirit. Later, she sets out on a mission to pick up Jade's clothes from the tailor, and after that, she needs to take Garnet's clothes to the wash house. She steps inside the shop to meet the tailor and first hesitates as she greets him, revealing she is here to pick up Jade's stuff. The tailor recognizes her and compliments her for picking up the items. She beams as she hears Jade's one-piece dress is ready, and she picks up the dress and thanks the tailor. Next, she goes straight to the wash house where the clerk compliments her for going there on her own, then promises to wash the clothes well. Domi feels good hearing the compliment. Therefore, on her way back, she feels really good. She thinks she was worried that when all of her friends become adventurers, they will stop listening to her stories. She believes if she completes the mission Jade gave her, she will tell her stories with confidence. Even though something is bothering her, she decides not to think about it for now. Suddenly, she hears a strange sound, and as she turns her head, she finds two cats fighting each other. She notes the big cat is hitting the smaller one. Therefore, she yells at the big cat to stop attacking. Unfortunately, the bigger cat turns toward her with bad intent. She feels a bit scared but then braces herself by pulling out a wooden sword from her bag and points it toward the cat. Even though her body is trembling, she asks the cat to surrender as she wants to talk things through. However, the cat is still in fighting mode and produces a terrifying sound. It jumps right at Domi, who screams as loud as possible. As the cat bites, it grabs her sword in its mouth and runs away. She cries out as she realizes the cat has taken the sword. Therefore, she starts chasing the cat through every alley and narrow path. However, she ultimately gets exhausted and breathes heavily. Looking up, she finds herself in a completely strange place. She weeps because she has lost both her sword and her way home, but she decides to move forward, thinking that if she keeps walking, she will surely get home. Out of nowhere, someone spots her, making her startle. As she looks back, that person asks what she is doing there. Domi recognizes her as Swirin. Domi recognizes her as the apothecarist who made them a special medicine. However, she states she was just walking around and asks Swirin about her business here. Swirin states she is about to head home, and Domi beams, suggesting they walk halfway together because at night it gets dangerous. Swirin agrees and suggests holding hands until they part ways. Then both of them start walking together holding hands. However, Domi is sad thinking about what happened, but after some time she finally gets back home. Jade notes she has gotten back late and asks if something has happened. Domi nods and explains that a kitten was getting bullied by a larger cat, and the cat jumped at her and stole her sword. Jade tells her they will buy another sword for her, but she makes a sad face, stating she thought she could be more dependable. Instead, she got her sword stolen and ended up lost. Sadly, she says she isn't good enough to tell her adventure stories, but after a small pause, Jade states that isn't true. He calmly explains that every adventurer faces those things eventually, like getting lost or losing their weapon. Doromi wants to confirm this, and Jade explains he himself has been lost many times and has broken a number of weapons as well. He believes Doromi has grown further as an adventurer, and she repeats his words as she realizes this is the truth. Finally, she smiles brightly as she decides to do her best to get stronger. Jade feels relieved that she returned safely in the end. Then Doromi states she ran into Suren, and if not for her, she would still be struggling to find her way back. After learning this, Jade decides to go to Suren to properly thank her, and Doromi agrees. Suddenly, someone knocks at the door. As Jade opens the door, they find Garnet. She apologizes for bothering them, and then Doromi spots her carrying Momochi. Doromi gets excited to see how much Momochi has grown and thanks Garnet for taking care of him. Meanwhile, Jade welcomes Garnet and invites her inside, and Jade serves her tea. Garnet apologizes for disturbing them, however, Jade shrugs it off. He announces that they can now go out to eat, and Doromi gets excited. Garnet feels good seeing the two so lively, and Jade and Doromi say they feel the same thing towards her as well. While Doromi adds she is super excited for their trip in 2 days, Jade gets nervous thinking about the trip, though he is still looking forward to it. He wanted to bring back Onyx before that, and he apologizes to Garnet, revealing Onyx was not in Linvox's capital. He adds there wasn't any record of him visiting the guilds in Linvox's capital in 12 years, however, he has one lead. He has found that Onyx used the guild's services 14 years ago, and Garnet remarks it is a long way back. Jade recalls that the guild was supposed to look at a time frame of 12 years. However, some of the staff finished earlier and decided to look further back. Jade further adds that it is a possibility that Onyx is traveling all around the world because he traveled to Linvox 14 years ago, so it wouldn't be weird to say he is traveling to other countries as well. Internally, Jade thinks that adventurers normally don't cross borders, and the quests inside their own country are enough for them to keep themselves busy. But Onyx is different as he loves adventuring, to the extent that he is willingly going to other countries. Garnet understands, remarking that her father is still adventuring even now, and Jade nods and decides to search for him everywhere to find him. After that, they will sit around him to hear all sorts of his adventure stories, and Garnet looks forward to that day as well. Finally, the day of the trip arrives and the whole group travels by train. Doromi is excited to meet Marin, and she is also bringing Momochi with her, as she can't wait to introduce him to Marin. Then she notes how quiet the other two are sitting, and Garnet states she is feeling nervous. Jade panically asks if she is not feeling well. She shakes her head and reveals she is just feeling nervous as her heart can't calm down. Jade is stunned and wonders why she is nervous even though they are going to her home, but Garnet states she is nervous because she is going to introduce her boyfriend to her mother, and Jade smiles warmly. Then he suggests introducing him just as her friend. However, she shakes her head because she wants to formally introduce him as her lover, because he is the person she loves. And seeing her affectionate smile and honesty, Jade yells firmly that he loves her too and will step further to become an even better boyfriend. Garnet chuckles swiftly as she comments he is already an amazing boyfriend, and hearing this, Jade gets super flushed. Then she changes the subject, asking if he has brought a sweater for Doromi. Jade nods but remarks the weather is still warm, so the sweater is in the bag, and he points out that Garnet's hometown gets pretty cold. Meanwhile, Doromi gets excited to wear gloves Garnet and Jade are knitting for her. However, Jade states she will have to wait for it a little longer. Deep down, he reflects that he is learning knitting from Garnet because he wants to exchange gloves with her. Plus, Doromi will also get a glove for each hand from both of them. Suddenly, Garnet asks him how much he has done till now. Sadly, he reveals he has done none because he is still practicing making a scarf. Garnet thinks it is a good idea as scarves are much easier to make, and Jade disappointedly says he thought the same thing, but it is not going as well as he thought it would be. However, Garnet laughs softly as she remarks it is better than her first try, but to her surprise, Jade reveals it is his 10th attempt. She feels a bit regretful for saying what she said earlier, so she apologizes. Jade speaks back and tells her not to apologize because he is happy that she is looking out for him, and inside he decides to improve as fast as possible so she won't have to worry about him. Then he asks if she has finished hers, and she shakes her head because to move further she needs to know his hand size. He thinks of getting someone to measure their hand sizes and adds that they will cast it in plaster, which will be easy to use as reference. But Garnet shakes her head saying she doesn't need something like that, and she gets super red as she wonders if she can measure by touching his hand. Her words hit right into Jade's heart. He gets flushed and reaches out his hand, telling her that she can touch his hand however she likes. She thanks him as it will be helpful. And right then, Garnet holds his hand as she starts observing it closely. Meanwhile, he notices how thoroughly she is touching his hand, and even their fingers get interlocked. She checks each finger for their size, and even though he is happy, he feels embarrassed. Unexpectedly, Garnet asks if he wants to check her hands as well, and she shows her hand. Jade nods and decides to do it gently. As her hand touches his, he continuously reminds himself that it is just to check her hand size. He blushes hard, and Garnet is blushing as well. Observing her hand closely, he notices that her hand is smaller than his. They are delicate and seem like they are crafted carefully by an artist, while she smiles warmly and looks like she is enjoying herself. Suddenly, she laughs softly as she feels ticklish, and Jade freezes in shock and apologizes panically. Internally, he reflects that he doesn't mean to check them like that. However, Garnet feels okay with it, and now she isn't feeling nervous. As they are busy with each other, Doromi's stomach rumbles because she is feeling hungry. Later, as the train continues its journey, she is busy eating sandwiches, and she compliments Garnet for making such amazing sandwiches. While Jade thanks her for going out of her way to prepare lunch for them, he says he can eat a bunch of these sandwiches. Garnet smiles and insists they eat as much as they want. And after that, Doromi makes a plan to try these with strawberry jam next time. Suddenly, the train takes a sharp break, and Doromi wonders why the train has stopped. The train operator yells for help and requests the passengers to help them. He asks if there is someone that is at least a 5 or higher rank adventurer. The train operator is all sweaty as he reveals that a monster is about to eat the whole train, and both Jade and Garnet widen their eyes hearing the report. Jade is shocked as he repeats the train operator's words in his head. He moves forward to ask for more details, and the operator recognizes Jade immediately. The man reveals that the monster is an iron eater that is stopped further along the tracks. With that information, Jade understands the gravity of the situation. An iron eater is an A-rank monster that feeds on metal, and its defensive capabilities are even greater than iron itself. If the monster isn't stopped, it will hurt the passengers and destroy the cars. Therefore, Jade tells the operator he will eliminate the monster for sure. The operator is stunned and asks if Jade will be okay acting without a formal request, believing it is too much to ask him to eliminate an A-rank monster without formal compensation. However, Jade firmly says he doesn't need money. He requests the operator to lead him to the monster, wanting to eliminate the threat as soon as possible. The operator, stunned by his determination, acknowledges the request and starts leading the way. Internally, Jade does not want this monster to ruin such an important trip. Nearby, the passengers recognize Jade. They are amazed by his selflessness and his willingness to sacrifice to protect them. Right then, Doromi yells out, revealing that she is rooting for him and wishing him luck. Jade tells her he will be back soon, while Garnet looks on, worried for him. In a couple of minutes, the operator takes Jade near the iron-eating monster, which is busy eating the rail track. Observing it, Jade is relieved that the monster hasn't damaged the rail too much yet. He instructs the train operator to stay back and reveals that the task won't take much time. First, he grabs the monster to move it away from the rail. Grabbing it tightly, he lifts the entire body of the beast. Seeing this, the operator is completely shocked. After lifting it, Jade throws the monster into the air and punches it so hard that its body is completely destroyed. The operator's jaw drops as he notes that Jade destroyed the monster with just one punch. Meanwhile, the passengers, Doromi and Garnet, watch Jade's performance with amazement, and the whole train fills with voices rooting for him. They thank him and call him an amazing hero. The train operator thanks Jade sincerely and adds that they will contact the nearest station to replace the rail immediately. He asks if there is anything they can do to thank him, but Jade shrugs it off, saying he only did what he had to do. Internally, he is grateful that they can now continue the trip. With that, he steps back inside the train. He thanks Doromi for her moral support and then thanks Garnet for watching, as her presence made him really happy. Garnet smiles, stating she should be the one to thank him for defeating the monster, and adds that he looked super cool in action. Jade smiles brightly and thanks her. For him, no reward is better than Garnet's smile. As the rails are being replaced, they need a place to stay for the time being. They go to an inn and request 2 rooms, but the innkeeper apologizes. Due to the high number of guests, only 1 room is available. Since they have only 1 room, Jade decides to sleep outside. After getting the keys, he gives them to Garnet. He says he will meet them in the morning, but Garnet worriedly asks why he can't just stay with them. Jade is stunned and asks if she is sure about that. She nods and explains that there are no other inns nearby, and she doesn't want him to sleep outside. Hearing this, Jade considers her a saint. Even though he is super nervous, he cannot bring himself to reject her offer, so he accepts. As he begins opening the door, he is internally thankful to Garnet for letting him stay, but he soon realizes that a single room means there is only a single bed. As he steps inside, he indeed finds only one bed. He imagines the three of them sleeping on that single bed, and rejects the idea right away, thinking he will just sleep on the floor. Garnet wonders if the inn has a bath, but Jade says he doesn't think so, noting that every bathhouse will be closed at this hour. Therefore, she decides to take a bath the next day. At the same time, Domi feels super sleepy and suggests they should sleep. Jade gives the entire bed to Domi, and as soon as she lays down, she falls asleep. Garnet covers her with a blanket, remarking that she must be very tired. Then she gets up and suggests to Jade that they sleep as well. When she looks at him, she asks what he is planning to do. While sitting on the floor, Jade states he is preparing to go to sleep. She points out that sleeping in the bed is much better, but Jade believes there won't be any furniture stores open at this hour to provide an alternative. Unexpectedly, Garnet says she doesn't mean they should buy a brand new bed. Jade pauses, wondering if she means what he thinks. He suddenly gets up and panically asks if she means he should share the same bed with her. She calmly explains that they can all fit if they squeeze in and asks if he doesn't want that. After a brief pause, he asks if she is sure and Garnet nods. However, she prefers Domi sleeping in the middle because she hasn't taken a bath today. Jade is stunned as he learns she is conscious of the way she smells, but he tells her not to worry because she always smells amazing. Garnet softly says that if that is the case, then she doesn't mind sleeping next to him. Jade blushes hard, as it now feels to him like he was the one who suggested sleeping together. He admits it is true, but it feels like a very high hurdle for him. On the other hand, he thinks he cannot be the one to suggest Domi sleep between them. After a couple of minutes, both lay down on the bed side by side. Garnet is already asleep while Jade remains in disbelief that this is happening. He tries to sleep but finds her warm and notices her pleasant scent. While super flushed, he thinks he cannot sleep like this. As Garnet turns her face in the opposite direction, she is also blushing hard and struggling to sleep. The next day at noon, the group steps out from the train station. Jade is rubbing his eyes because he hasn't got a wink of sleep. As they step out, Jade is stunned to see Garnet's beautiful hometown of Laboon. She reveals her house is within walking distance, and after some minutes, they finally arrive. She insists they not be shy and welcomes them in. Jade thinks about finally being at her house, and seeing him standing still, Garnet asks what is wrong. Jade reveals he is just feeling nervous and comments that this is the house she was raised in, making it a very special place. Garnet tries to calm him down, stating it is just an ordinary old house, and reveals that her mother is still at work and won't be home until evening. Jade understands she is trying to put him at ease. Garnet reaches out her hand, and Jade holds it as he decides to step inside. Suddenly, Marin opens the door and is shocked to see Domi. She is then surprised to see her sister and Jade as well. Domi excitedly announces that everyone is there to visit, and Marin happily hugs her tightly. Marin excitedly wants to listen to adventure stories, and Domi acknowledges this, revealing she has a lot to tell. Time goes by and the living room becomes lively with their chatting. Garnet arrives and serves tea and refreshments. Jade thanks her, but as he is about to take a sip, he notices that Marin has already grown a petal. Garnet explains that the girl is working hard so she can one day go on a quest with Jade. Hearing this, Marin plans on going on a quest together while they are here, and Domi also shows interest. Seeing Garnet look worried, Domi asks if they really can go. Jade takes the responsibility to protect the girls if something bad happens. Therefore, Garnet agrees, but adds that since they have just arrived, they should go the day after tomorrow. Marin thanks her big sister while Domi celebrates. Jade notes that Domi and Marin have just met and are already ready to go out. Next, Marin grabs Domi, wanting to show her around the house. As they both leave, Jade hopes that this trip ends as a happy memory for him as well. Later, Garnet starts cooking in the kitchen. Jade observes her from behind and finds her absolutely lovely. Seeing her tense facial expression, he believes something is wrong and asks if she is nervous. She nods, revealing her heart is not calming down. When Jade confirms this, Garnet asks why he is turning pale. Internally, he explains it is because she is super cute and he doesn't think any parent would want to give up a daughter who looks this good. He nervously asks if he looks presentable, and Garnet nods. He asks if anything about his clothes or hair looks weird, and Garnet calmly states he looks handsome. Jade instantly gets super flushed, believing she is praising him too much. She sees that he is overreacting, and Jade explains that if she says such things suddenly, he will obviously be shocked. Garnet insists that he indeed looks handsome, though Jade still thinks she is overpraising him. Unexpectedly, she states she doesn't think it is enough praise. She adds that he is kind, friendly, and sensible, and someone she can truly rely on. Listening to this, Jade is so happy that he falls to the floor hard. Garnet worriedly asks if he is all right. Jade says to himself that she is very kind because she is still worried about him, even though he only hit his head. As he sits up, he yells that he really loves her and thanks her from his heart for going out with him. Garnet sighs in relief and lifts her hand to touch his head. Jade gets super flushed and stunned again. Garnet notes he doesn't have a bump, but still asks if it hurts. Jade shakes his head, saying he is fine, and adds that being touched by his partner feels like electricity passing through his body. To his surprise, Garnet reveals she wants to be touched by him like that. Jade wonders if she is sure, then touches her hair softly and gently. Her hair feels smooth and fluffy, completely different from his own. He remarks that he feels a bit embarrassed, but when she asks if he hates it, he shakes his head. Garnet looks at him affectionately and he returns the expression. He internally thinks that having her smile only for himself is all he could ask for. In the next moment, Marin and Domi return from their house tour and find dinner on the table. Domi is excited, but Garnet announces they must wait for their mother. Marin adds she will be back any moment. Right then, the door opens and shuts. Marin announces their mother has arrived, and she enters. Jade gets nervous as he sees Garnet's mother for the very first time.
Here I am, know it's been